everybody. Welcome to Monday Live. It's Monday. It's live. It's Zach. Back in the house. Back in the studio.
For now.
Welcome, everybody. I saw the comment there from Big Hank that as much as you want to hear from us, you could listen to that jazz for about an hour. Well, I mean, you can play it in a loop, I imagine. You just get a little clip of it, and you would probably do better than listening to us for the next hour or so. But what are we going to be saying? Here is the answer to that question. Flesh and Blood and Sorcery TCG are two extremely different trading card games, going for different audiences, seemingly totally different vibes, different approaches, etc. Zach comes back from Barcelona, where you got all the scoop on Flesh and Blood.
Yep.
And I think you said that what is most on your mind right now is how vastly different the two games, the two publishers are approaching the same problem. So I think we're going to talk about that at the start of the show.
I'm looking forward to it.
We'll dive into that, and then we got some news to cover. Of course, all of the games that you'll find supported on our website. We will give you updates for those in the Monday Live format. So we got some of those coming up, including Arkhamhorror, alphaclash, some Earthborne news to share as well. Some very good Earthborne news, and among others. And then at the end of the talkie segments, Jonathan's going to come on stream with me. Zach's going to get out of here because he's got a lot to catch up on from his absence in Barcelona. And we will finish the day 3 situation that we have found ourselves in Earthborne Rangers, where we continue to push our luck and try to not effectively rest in the game of Earthborne.
You got to be careful when you rest.
It's too tantalizing to keep pushing the limit there. Also, let us know how the audio sounds, if you would. We are back on the shotgun mics, but we're in the studio, so they should be performing better.
I'm gonna DJ.
We got them leveled and set. It's amazing how close they are while not being in the shot right now. So if anything feels weird, if there's echoes or just kind of a hollow sound or anything like that, let us know, and I'll...
That's just my voice.
I'll adjust, yeah. Zach just speaks like a ghost.
Turn it into a wait mode here.
Oh, looky there.
Oh, there it is. And we had that on the Sorcery marathon. So are we covering news first, or are we talking topic first?
Let's talk topic first.
Right,
Flesh and Blood Sorcery. What went on in Barcelona with Flesh and Blood got you thinking this way?
Just to give some context into the experience for me. So the first stream from the studio was our 12-hour Sorcery release day jam.
Yeah. And
I literally, that weekend is when I went to Barcelona. So I went from 12-hour Sorcery, slow grow, just insanity of that stream, straight into I'm leaving for the World Championship of FAB. So then it's just such
what a different mindset.
A different take. And, that's the launch of Sorcery. So you're at the beginning of a game versus Flesh and Blood, which is now on set. I think you said set 12 earlier.
I said that. And that may have been hyperbolic, but that was a number that was floating around that I think I saw out there.
I'm pretty sure Dusted On was 10, which would make Bright Lights 11, which would make Heavy Hitters number 12. So I think you were close, if not right on. And so you have the Sorcery launch, and there's a lot of things about Sorcery that make it different than pretty much every other TCG I've ever played, which is they're aiming for one set a year. They talked about very early on. The focus is on very fun, thematic. Even on the stream, they were talking about the top-down design of look at the piece of art. What should that art do in the game? And while simple in some ways, also to see kind of big, insane effects you would not expect out of a competitive game. And I think going very businessy from a marketing positioning standpoint, they're aiming at a very different audience than Flesh and Blood is. Mm-hmm. And that became really apparent because James, who's the CEO/founder of Legend Story Studios, who makes Flesh and Blood, was given a presentation at Barcelona, right? And so this is the World Championship. And I actually don't, it's funny, I don't know, I think it was $300,000 is what was on the line that weekend. Don't quote me on that. This year, they had $1 million of prize support on the line. And in that presentation, a few things happened. One, they announced that next year they're actually upping that to 1.5 million.
That's impressive.
So
that's a 50% improvement.
Yeah. Well, and notably, $500,000 is more. The increase is more than almost any other TCG does. Period.
Right.
But the statement that came out of James' mouth, and I'm going to butcher this, so apologies.
The statement that kind of came out of James'.
Yeah. Well, the sentiment was Flesh and Blood is the greatest competitive card game on the market right now. Period. Mm-hmm. And as he was talking, he says it, and it's like, okay. And then as he's talking, he's like, that's true.
Yeah.
Like they have a stronger organized play program. They're giving out more money. They have more events. Like in every stat you can imagine, they are the best competitive card game on the market.
Game is super tight. Also, it continues to be meta surprise. Talked about that yesterday or last week. Like there continues to be surprises in who's winning, what decks are winning, those kinds of things. So for a competitive environment, that's also a very good sign.
Yeah, and I think Worlds was a really big win for them for a lot of reasons. One, they announced the increased organized play and extended schedule of events. Two, the next set that they're releasing, they made a lot of really good decisions with that set. A lot of excitement, especially compared to this most recent set. But the meta itself as well had changed because one of the heroes that had been kind of clamping the meta down, and actually the other one just went away too.
Icelander's gone now, yeah.
And so their Living Legend system, which is, again, from the ground up, the DNA of that game is built to be a competitive game. The ability to control variance in that game is very high, which is great for a competitive game because you don't want to travel to Barcelona, prepare for months or years, play in a tournament, and then just get YOLO'd off the board in round one, right? So comparatively, we were playing Sorcery in that stream, and we've been playing a lot of Sorcery. And like, in fact, I kind of want that to happen sometimes in that game.
Yeah, but there was a lot of YOLOing.
It's just like sometimes this happens and this crazy thing happened, and all of a sudden the game's over.
And Big Dragon.
Yeah. But he just made that statement, and it was like, they are, actually. Mm-hmm. And they've been talking for a long time about doing a PvE, play versus experience, cooperative. And I think that's a potential lane they can take. And they've got classes, and it can feel like an RPG and all this stuff. But we talk about all the time on the business side, like the value of focus. And it's actually pretty amazing to be able to say we're the best competitive card game on the market.
Yeah, and they can run with that. And they should.
And I think they should.
Yeah,
and so like,
because it's real. It's true.
Before that, it's like I knew that's what they were aiming for. But then there were these other conversations, and you have a starter product with the professor that's kind of cooperative-y, and like it's like, okay, and not that I think those are things you can't do, but if you really just pin it to the board and say, we're going to own this brick. Now, whether or not that's a good strategy or that's a good segment to own, or that's
working so far, $500,000 added to the prize circuit is not a bad sign.
Yeah, but whether or not that's, because the thing that always gets talked about is Magic. And what they did. And I think we've had this conversation 1,000 times about Magic.
You got to do the commander thing, get the casual player base, etc.
And they had a significant advantage in being the only game in town and the first game in town, and then the momentum behind it. And so in the early days of Magic, though, when they were becoming popular, they didn't have organized play. And so that's part of what Sorcery is asking. It's like, wasn't it better back then when it didn't have to be balanced and it didn't have to be tight, and like we were releasing less products, and it was more, it was different every time you played someone across the table. They had different stuff, and there was more variance.
Like Discovery was a big piece of that experience, I think, and that is something that when you look at what Sorcery is doing, tons of cards in the sets. The cards are doing crazy things, and the collectability is in really just like these rare, beautiful foils. Like foil unique cards in that game are such an incredible thing to open, and they add curios on top. So the packs are an exercise in discovery. The games are an exercise in discovery. The card design being taught down is an exercise in discovering what these creatures do on the board, which is different than Flesh and Blood's. This number's one click different from that number that you've seen 2 sets ago. So you're right. I mean, like discovery and what was it like before organized play was the only pathway to have a successful trading card game. Is really what Sorcery is pointing at. It's like, what was the design like before we had to care about this?
Yeah.
And it is that.
And that's where, for some reason, the card that keeps popping in my mind is that East-West Dragon.
Yeah.
And it's like, can only move left to right.
Yeah.
Or moves left to right free.
Freely sideways, yeah.
And like the way some of those cards are written, even though, and I love, again, almost every card in Sorcery is a single sentence. Like you have a single stat, a single cost, and a single sentence card, and somehow it feels like a dragon, right? Or whatever it is. Yeah. But the way those are written is not how you would write a card if you need airtight rules.
Yeah.
Which is actually where the chocolate bar comes from. So segue real quick into the chocolate bar. King of segues. That's I'm aiming to be. If I'm going to own anything on this here channel, it's that. So this was given to me by a friend, Joshua Scott, who works at Legend Story Studios, and I met him really for the first time in Baltimore. Was at a dinner, got sat next to him. Joshua Scott is responsible. He's the guy the rules guy at Legend Story Studios.
Really?
And he's the one that's been bending over backwards to fix some of the very early decisions around rune chants and auras and but he's on a different level in terms of understanding.
Yeah.
So I had a conversation with him. He checked in.
How does he feel about Spectra?
I'll let him answer that in his own words. I don't want to butcher that one. Anyways, he very kindly brought this chocolate bar that I wanted to share with everyone here from his homeland of New Zealand, apparently. This is a Whitaker's Creamy Milk Berry Forest made in New Zealand chocolate bar. Wow. Which is why it's sitting here. So.
And you just walked up and handed it to you?
Yeah, he's like, hey, I just wanted to... He had a couple that I could choose from. And he's like, I'd like to bring chocolate bars and give them to people. Just as a way to say thanks for doing whatever it is they do. So
was it like a band fundraiser or something? Or
I don't think so. No. This is just a brand of chocolate you can buy there. And he had like
that's so cool. That's very kind of it.
Yeah, it was very nice. And I think that's, we talk a lot about this competitiveness of FAB. And part of why I wanted to mention the chocolate bar and bring it on stream and all this stuff is like, it is such a different, and I've talked to people that have extensive histories in Magic as an example. And they talk about the difference in the competitive environment at a FAB event versus like anywhere else.
Anything.
Yeah, and it's really amazing for the most part, the positive competitive spirit that exists. I do think Legend Story / FAB has captured that in a really delicate, good way. And that kind of nice thing is I had so many games, and it's the World Championship Series and stuff. Even day 2, the last couple of games, win or lose. Incredibly friendly people, laughing during those are my favorite. When you can get in those intense scenarios and like that peak competitive experience that you can have with everything on the line kind of a thing, but both people can continue being humans and enjoying it. I love that.
Yeah, okay, so that brings me to 2 questions. First of all, this one's to you, chat. First of all, hello everybody. Hello Big Hank. Hello Min-March. Darth Prince, glad that the sound is good. I think you're a bit of an expert on that if I remember your commentary in Discord. So glad to hear that. We got a lot of better maneuverability with the studio.
Look, we can see the comments. That's cool.
Yeah, and we got a huge upgrade, so we can position them a lot easier. And then good to see you too, Chad, saying the chocolate is made by hobbits. But question in the chat. So I imagine some of you play Flesh and Blood. I imagine some of you play Sorcery TCG, and I imagine that there's some of you also that don't play either, but are probably loosely familiar with both. So what do you make of this comparison between their approaches to organized play? Is one more appealing, less appealing to you? Like, does a game need a strong competitive organized play, publisher invested circuit to be successful? If you don't have that, are you just going to last a couple of sets and then fizzle out? What are your thoughts on that? And then second to you, Zach, why is that the case for Flesh and Blood, that you can go and have an intense tournament experience, but it's not toxic when it can be so toxic? From what we have, from the anecdotes that we've been given, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Pokemon can be very toxic in their competitive scenes. Obviously, that's anywhere humans are gathered and competing, there's going to be people who are going to take that too seriously, and they're going to self-identify too much with the result, and they're going to freak out and be not great to be around. So you look at it on its face and it's like, there's nothing about the game really that would make a difference. Is it the fact that this is a lot of people who grew up with TCGs who are now more adults that are being pitched this kind of game? So if you've given up on the big 3, you're probably a little older, you probably dropped out because of that vibe or the culture, what was going on there. And this is your opportunity to re-engage with it. And so everybody takes that a little bit of responsibility for making that a positive environment. Is it the tone set by James and the team at Legend Story? Is it something about the game mechanics themselves? Why do you think you have these experiences where everybody thinks their community is the best, right? Like that you say that all the time in whatever game you play.
Yeah. Well, I think to that last point, when you're in one of these communities, and I've had a push-pull relationship with competitive games. On some level, I think it can get unhealthy very easily. But on the other, it's like some of my fondest memories and most profoundly connective experiences are, and I'll share some of the stories from this weekend. One of my really good friends from forever ago, Matt Coles, who's on the team that I test with, had so many just great moments with him during this trip that you don't get unless you're in the trenches on this kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So a good example of this, And so this is the kind of thing that makes everyone say this about whatever game they're playing. Because I think naturally you gravitate towards whoever you're close to. And if you're lucky enough to have friends that you play these games with or people you travel these events with, this is just what happens. But and if you have great people like Matt around. Like Matt's one of the best people on the planet.
He's a great dude. Yeah.
But we're both 4-2 on day one at Worlds. And technically 4-3 at day one at Worlds with 1 round left. You go to day 2 if you want. But at 4-3, you basically have to go undefeated on day 2 to have a shot.
And still cross your fingers a little bit.
And it's still probably not going to happen. So a lot of times what would happen, like at Baltimore Pro Tour, I was 4-3 on day 1 because I 3-1 constructed and then 1-2 my draft.
Yeah.
And so I had to make a choice. Do I drop and play the calling or do I keep in the Pro Tour? And I decided to drop play the calling. Calling went well. That was a good experience for me. But Worlds is a little different because it's like Worlds. So if you have a shot to top 8 or even top 16, like you almost got to take it. So anyways, we're sitting after that round, we're sitting down and we're talking and he's basically asking my math and he had lost earlier than me and that's bad for your standings. But he's like, all right, so if I go 4-3 and he's like running the math on whether he should
That's
drop.
such a big part of the competitive circuit too.
So we're sitting there, we're both at 4-2 and like conversation we're having is, should we drop if we go 4-3? Right. And that hasn't even happened. It's still possible we could win. And a couple minutes in that conversation, mid-conversation, he pauses and he goes, I'll screen my words. He says, F it. We ball. We're going to go win this round. He stands up, splits his fist out. We bump fists. We walk off. We go play our last round, right?
And you both won.
This segues into back to the point you had earlier. We both did win.
Cool.
But so I win my game and I'm like, X. And like just that vibe of like, he believed in us more than I believed in us in that moment. And then now I believe in us. So like, let's just go do it and stop worrying about what happens if we fail. Like just go win. But I win my game. Then I go sit to watch the end of his game. And this is a segue back into your point earlier. Why is it different for FAB? So he's actually playing against Pro Tour 2 champion Matt Folks in his game.
Familiar.
Yeah. Who's obviously good at the game. And Matt Folks actually, I have a lot to say about this guy. And in a positive way that might surprise some people. So he early on in like a UK Nationals or something, there was a controversy. I won't go into all that. But he came from, I think, an environment much more like a Magic scene. And in Magic, I think the expectation is win at all costs. So you got to watch your opponent and make sure they're not like missing triggers or intentionally doing this or whatever. And it's like, it's almost this very invisible hand vibe of like, you're going to do whatever it takes to win and I'm going to do whatever it takes to win. Yeah. That's the accepted culture. And in FAB, very on the culture of that community is not that. It's like he did some stuff that was, it's in the gray area.
What they call it, angle shooting or something? Yeah. Like trying to kind of be like, you didn't catch me on it, but I didn't see it, but now I'm catching you on it.
Yep.
And
and because of that, like there was a reputation that came with that and like an aura. And like it's both positive that happened. But the thing I love about that is that his response to that was to do better. He owned it. And, Matt, after having played against him in that game that Matt won, so he's playing as Pro Tour champion in a game where now that guy's 4-3 and having to have the conversation of, should I stick in this event or should I drop? That's a tough spot to be in when your expectation is like, I'm a Pro Tour champion. I should be, undefeated right now. But since then, like tons of my teammates have played against him or interacted with him, and there's nothing but positive things to say. Super nice guy. Man. So the community giving him a chance to improve and him actually taking the steps to improve. But that's just like the culture being set. And I think that's a lot of things. I think that's the company. I think that's the game. I think the way it's built. Like it's not the average age is higher. I think that the maturity level is very high. I think that who they're targeting and how they're targeting. I think the way the local communities are formed, the whole thing. Like, and they have also a lot of standout, like even people like Michael Hamilton or Michael Fang winning these big events. And the way they are is really big.
I think that's such a critical piece of it. Because I always will remember Paul Heaver with X-Wing. And it's like, Paul Heaver did more to set the culture of X-Wing than anyone at FFG probably.
Yeah. Well, you had Paul and you also had Nathan very early on. And it's like, that's a really cool element of that too.
But that's what I mean. Like, is it random? Like, is it just so happens that these nice people won a lot of your early events and became the world champions that were getting interviewed, that were then getting the articles posted on the website, that players were then reading and saying, oh, this is what Pro Tour champions are like. This is what we should all be like. culturally. It's just a very tough case study in culture.
I mean, I think there's things you can do on the publisher side, but then I also think there's a lot to do with who you're making this game for and who you're targeting. Anyone, like the two biggest categories to me are people that are new to this play fab and people that are tired of Magic is another huge, or tired of the old big three, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of times the culture they're escaping has the negatives that they're trying to avoid. And so that just reinforces itself, right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I think a lot of people are the people that naturally didn't find themselves in those cultures to begin with, and or have grown past them and don't want. Like, I wouldn't want to go to tournament. Like my last game was against Ian Zhang, who's a Dromai player. Winner gets top 64. Is basically it. And it's top 64 beyond the ability to say, oh, I top 64 this tournament is worth actually like thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So this is like a multi-$1,000 game, which is not the most critical game in the tournament for any, like there's higher stakes games going on.
Yeah. But
top 8 or not. And we just had a really friendly, fun game. And I would hate the idea of like, and he's playing Dromai, and Dromai can get out of hand in that game, just unlike Fab. It's like this big board very quickly, and I'm just like, what do I do with this? But just picturing him being like the win at all cost expectation, and I'm having to like, he played clean. I didn't have to track his board, right? Like I understand that he's doing it the right way. And there was even one, I played on Sunday, the first Living Legend Battle Hardened, first event that's actually Living Legend format. I'm 3-0 playing my round 4 against the Starvo, of course. A lot of those around. And my opponent broke the rules. I forget what he did. Oh, I remember.
He didn't reveal.
I played a Sonata. Technically, if you're going to crown a Seeds before Sonata, or to prevent the Sonata damage, you have to do it before I reveal my cards.
Right.
Because there's not a window after that time.
Sure.
So I Sonata. I'm like, do you have anything? He's like, nope. I reveal. I get caught in the reveal, making my decision. I make my choice. He's like, I'll pay 1 to crown to prevent the damage. And then like 3 seconds later, he's like, oh, I broke the rules. Let me call a judge. So like he called a judge on himself to come resolve this situation. But that kind of thing happens all the time. And it's really nice to be in that competitive environment where, people are, if I miss a tunic counter, that's on me.
Yeah.
Like no one's going to be like, hey, you forgot your tunic counter. Like get that thing. But also like people not intentionally being like, I'm going to see if he catches that I shouldn't be able to crown here is worth a lot. And that's what keeps me engaged and me competing at these high-level events, which I think is almost like an honor to it, right?
Yeah.
That is somehow there, and I love it. And
there's two things that come to mind on that. I'm gonna check in with the chat here in just a second, but the two things that come to mind just as we're having this kind of a combo is like, I look at the opposite of what Sorcery is doing on the publisher side, and you have something like the Silver Roll, which is such an express dictate from the publisher saying, hey, take it easy, right?
Yeah, like, real quick, what is a Silver Roll? And then also from an organized play standpoint, what is Sorcery doing?
Well, so the Silver Roll is basically if you can't figure out how to resolve something, or if it's unclear, like do the most thematic thing that you guys can agree on.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. Make it work. And we've used that many times. It's like, hey, this dragon would fly, so of course it would work like this. It's like, yeah, I agree with you. And there's a certain joy in a certain freedom in that, where you can zoom out and actually enjoy that part of it. But before the organized play thing on Sorcery, the other thing that I think is really critical to this is the unspoken thing that publishers do within a community. And I think a lot of players feel taken advantage of by the traditional approach from the big three of a lot of releases, a lot of cards that maybe you need 1 or 2 cards from the new set and you've got to fork over all this money for singles. And it can start to feel like you're getting ground down by a publisher being overly greedy, or like just trying to get more and more money out of your pockets. And you're just there to have a competitive experience at a big event. And so I also think that there's a piece of this that relates back to the product and the release schedule, and even the way that the cards are being designed, where if you as a player are feeling like I've got to go through all these hoops that are basically just kind of taking advantage of me to go play in the big event, by the time I get there, I'm just not into the game or the company as much So it becomes a little more abrasive when I'm playing the game because it's just not as fun, as joyful.
And
you don't feel respected.
That DNA runs through the whole experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like the game, the release schedule, the tournament rules, the rules of the game itself, the way it plays, the way the opponents play, all kind of have this, like, no nonsense about them.
Yeah.
Is the feeling.
Like, we're trying to accomplish this exact thing, and here's us actually putting our money where our mouth is as a publisher. Like, we changed to FAB 2.0 because of these reasons. We've designed sets in new ways because of these reasons. We're trying to basically work with you as a player base rather than see how much you'll buy from us. And Sorcery, you know, we talked to Eric during our 12-hour live stream. We just think the quality of the product is the most important thing. That's basically right out of Eric's mouth. Yeah. We just think we should make the best cards that we can, and what happens after that is kind of not even up to us.
Yeah.
If we just get the best art and the best mechanics and create an awesome experience, that's what we can do as a publisher to set the culture and the tone of the Sorcery community.
Yeah.
And those things are really important. Nobody really you don't talk about those quite as much.
Yeah.
That, like, it's not just about what you say, it's about literally the product itself.
Yeah. Now they did Sorcery did go into a little bit of the dust system, right?
Yes.
I think that happened while I was gone.
Yeah, they did.
I don't know if you're familiar enough with it.
Yeah, it's basically like dust. The first way to get dust is to actually buy booster boxes.
Yeah,
so that's
on the bottom of the box.
That's two parts that's really important. One is that it rewards you for buying the product, which, you know, any publisher looking to engage in marketing to drive sales is like, well, can we add incentives to buy? Dust is one of them. The second one is it gives them the opportunity to see where people are. Who's collecting the dust? What stores are selling these booster boxes that these players are registering? Where are the concentrations of players who are registering these accounts to catch up with this dust? All this it gives them information. Mm-hmm. And then they also added, we're going to give dust out for other things. Yeah. So it could be like playing in a local event. It could be anything. It could be
playing a kitchen table. It could be
send us, and I don't know if they haven't announced this, but send us a picture of your full collection. One of every alpha card or one of every beta card.
Give you an account of
we'll
dust.
Give you 100 dust for doing that. Those kinds of things, they just have opened the door to have more control directly between them and the player base without the distributor and the retailer in the middle, which can be very, very important. Yeah. Very, very helpful.
And I've seen a lot of people over time, right? So Sorcery has been with us now since the Kickstarter early 2022. And one of the common things that keeps popping up is people desiring Sorcery to be more like the other TCGs, which is people basically expressing concerns. One set a year is not enough. You're going to lose engagement. You're going to lose players.
Yeah, people want their attention.
And then it's like, if you don't have local tournaments, and you don't have regional tournaments, you don't have a world championship, like people are going to... But it kind of comes back to what I was saying earlier about FAB and James saying, we're the best competitive card game in the world. I think Sorcery, without saying it so far, and maybe Eric is willing to say this, but... we always talk about competitive casual being like a very bad terminology, but I think the aspiration feels way more like we want to be the best kitchen table card game in the world. Mm-hmm. And the expectations, or what you would expect out of a game that's trying to be that, is very different than the norm. And that's why I liked Sorcery from the start. Mm-hmm. And like the early conversations with Eric, like sensing that he thought I would be disappointed that this was the answer. And I'm getting more excited because once a year release is like a relief.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I can take my time and enjoy it. No tournaments means I can just play at my local friend level. Like I don't.
Yeah.
It's not in the FAB lane. Like actually, like
not even trying to be.
If you want FAB lane, play FAB.
I even think Eric would say it's the highest quality card game.
That's
like he would even attack the organized play element of it.
Yeah, just from like, playing this purely.
We're gonna have the best art.
It's gonna be the best experience that it can be. Most enjoyable, most thematic, etc. So now another kind of thing to throw into this water maybe a little bit is, and a game I think we'll be showing on stream potentially next week, is alphaclash.
Yeah.
Who I know is supposed to be making some OP plans announcements for next year soon. And they're kind of in a interesting spot too, right? Because they've got we're more of an indie hero, indie TCG vibe. It is a competitive heads-up game. Mm-hmm. It is way different than Sorcery or even Flesh and Blood, honestly, in my opinion. So I'm really curious to see their approach as well.
Where they end up.
Because, again, I think you can get caught in the middle. Mm-hmm. And to me, Sorcery and FAB are kind of two extremes on some scale.
Yeah.
Just approach of what you're even trying to do. Because I do think FAB, like you were saying about Sorcery, trying to be the best card game. I think FAB wants to be the best card game. but their variables on what it means to be the best or most enjoyable are very different. So these are kind of all just jostling. Like, I think going from that stream of sorcery into Fab Worlds in that presentation, it was just like, wow.
Yeah, these are the same genre, but so different.
And I think it's easy on the business side to say, talk about these personas or people purchasing this product. Who's this game for? But like, I'm equally invested and excited about both.
Yeah.
And so like, I know I'm not everybody, and I know some people don't like sorcery at all. Some people don't like Fab at all. Don't want competitive. Don't want whatever. But like, it is really not as black and white as this is for this persona of person. And one thing I like about sorcery is, I think someone that is all in on Fab could actually have sorcery as a game they play. In the same way that someone who has nowhere near the time to play Fab could be all in on sorcery, and that one set of year release is like. No game does that.
Right.
That's
not anymore.
That's either the craziest idea ever or the best idea ever.
It takes time to do things well. I mean, I think that's the statement being made there. Going into the chat, I'm going to go all the way up to Justin Derringer. First comment, I still know nothing about Fab, but I heard sorcery and I am all for it. I heard about sorcery and all for it. See the tulip underneath there. I'd rather have a great game than a game that compromises to establish a competitive scene. I think that's really important. So this, I think, is more in Eric's Curiosa statement of, if we make a great game, people might compete at it. They might not. That's fine. But we're interested in making a great game. And so if the quality of the vision that you have for your game has to be compromised because you need it to be this kind of way for a competitive scene, or because you need to divert resources to renting out these convention centers instead of paying your designers and your artists, that is a choice that often I think gets made at the high level especially for new games trying to find their footing. I mean, there's so many of them, right? All the way back to MetaZoo, Cryptic, that family of games, all the Grand Archive style, Y. Schwartz kind of games. You have like the Digimon is kind of floating in there, and then all the way to like the non-collectibles, Varia. All of this is kind of their trying to find out where is the right balance, not just for games, for tabletop or trading card games, but for mine.
Yeah.
And your mechanics and your publishing schedule and your vibe, it all has to kind of work together to set a certain kind of tone. Nathaniel Dalton here is saying sorcery is more appealing because it's for a chill time. Fab is fun because it's heroes and RPGs, but I do judging over competitive play for Flesh and Blood, which is fascinating, right?
Yeah.
I'd rather judge Flesh and Blood rather play sorcery. Just the way the brain works is amazing.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people that the competitive Fab experience is the last thing they want out of a hobby.
Yeah.
And I know some people that have a really chill day job, their home life is really settled, and like being able to compete at these things is very appealing to them.
Yeah.
Like to have something to pursue. Everything else is stable and cool, and I don't want to be, ambitious in my career. I'm chill. Like I like where I'm at. But I do want some higher aspiration and pursuit to be on.
Yeah, push yourself a bit. Captain Awesome said, Fab caters to people who loved competitive Magic the Gathering and are now older. So you could see just the fact that this is an audience that is probably just older than what those communities were when we were in them in 18, 19, 20 years old, 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, right?
When we were in Barcelona, the Wolfpack was having a conversation. It came up of like, what's the average age? Because like Brody's on the team just turned 18, and Matt, who's on the team, is almost 40.
Yeah.
But then we removed the outliers, and it was like remove the two 40-year-olds and the 18 and the 25-year-old, which is 4 people. And it was like everyone else was 30 to 35.
Yeah.
And like when we were playing Star Wars TCG, the average age was probably like 20.
20 something.
We were a little young.
Yeah. The 20-year-olds had all the cards.
Like the 25-year-old, like John Lavis.
He had like jobs.
It's like he just had it all, and he would and Todd and all that stuff. So I do think the age skews higher.
Yeah.
Which doesn't always mean more mature, but in Fab's case, does. And it is kind of interesting that I almost feel like Fab and Sorcery are targeting two very different pieces that Magic used to own.
Yeah.
Like to me, Sorcery is evoking that 90s version of Magic prior to the tournaments, local, small, kitchen table, crazy things that are just always like you read some of those early Magic cards, this is wild what they were printing.
Absolutely.
Compared to now.
Oh yeah.
And the same with Fab, where it's like, well, what if we started from the start with this competitive in mind?
Yeah.
Because that was a lot of Magic's problem too. that took a long time for them to like shake out, which is like, well, this isn't really designed for this. So how do we change? And now they're trying to do a lot of different stuff at one time, and it's working.
Yeah, and then Commander is happening, and then we're doing Commander sets, and now we're doing crossover sets and that kind of thing. And all the Magic community that I've engaged with are all like, Commander is the reason Magic's successful. It's the reason it's working. It's the reason, et cetera, et cetera. So I think there is this kind of tension around, well, if we're going to do a game at all, we have to appeal to both of these audiences in a big way. That's the only way that it's worked for Magic. But then you have Flesh and Blood going all one, and Sorcery seemingly going all the other. Yeah. It's like, well, maybe that works too.
Also, this is just like textbook business.
Yeah.
Like what happens is like eventually a company gets really big and successful at something, and then it's not other big companies that end up tearing it down. Same with like, you look at like TV and media, and it's like these tiny little, there's 1,000 little startups trying to attack you, and eventually one is Facebook, right? Or Instagram, or YouTube, or Netflix.
Yeah. In case of Blockbuster.
And it's like Netflix just came in and was like, we're going to be the best at this, right?
Mailing DVDs, I think.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, I think VHS originally. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's just mailing stuff. And it's like, well, Blockbuster's not doing that. It's like,
what's even funny about that is like, my dad is obsessed with horror movies, and B-horror movies in particular, but in Oklahoma, like one of the premier first shot for VHS, it was not planned to have a theatrical release at all, was a movie called Blood Cult. But it's a similar kind of disruptive mechanism. This is like 10 people in Tulsa having an idea, which is like, we can make a horror movie for super cheap, and we can put it right into the VHS, and then just put it in all the video rental stores without actually wasting all of our time and money trying to get it to the studios.
Yeah, and like all the marketing involved in that, and like the distribution, and the cuts from the studio, and then the cut from the theater, down and down it goes.
And then direct to VHS fundamentally changes these massive institutions that are now trying to get in on that, and then they try to put their resources here, and now they have split off and trying to outcompete Netflix and all these kinds of things, and now the theaters, and it's just it is true that it's often the smaller focused things that come along and screw it up for the big guys.
Yeah, like it's really hard for Magic, as an example, to have a singular offering that is as good at being a competitive game as FAB, when that's all FAB's having to deal with, and as good at being just the kind of experience you get from Sorcery, because you start printing cards that read like Sorcery into FAB, and you've got a problem,
right?
Or vice versa, right? Like it's not interesting enough over here. So it's just a tale as old as time.
Yeah,
like it gets really hard to keep being successful. We'll see. They have a lot of momentum though.
Justin Derringer, following up on the Sorcery comment, I think Sorcery pushing locals and kitchen table is such a good thing for TCGs and fills the void that Commander will leave when Magic the Gathering dies its slow death. Everyone's been saying that for about 25 years now. It has a competitive scene, but it's not the focus, so it's just based around the back and forth play like Ashes.
For a long time, I thought it's inevitable that Magic will die. I'm of the opinion that it'll be more like TV or radio or cable, where it's not that eventually it will die. It may well die, but I think it's more likely just it will be less popular over time. There will be a peak, and it will. But even now, radio is still around and kicking, and like doing just fine.
Yeah, yelling at you during the advertising. This is a quote from Jason Gleason, and I think we see this in a lot of young communities. So these newer card games a lot of times will have really refreshing communities, and then sometimes they turn not that. But this is why FAB's local community, in my experience, needs new players. So those players are evangelizing the game and helping new players with cards and play because they want it to thrive. Thus, it's less toxic because they have an intention, which is I need to get more people playing this rather than one of the more established games. It's like you don't care if the person across you never comes back.
Yeah,
right.
Because there's a billion people who play this game.
There'd just be more people, right? Chad Stilson, I had to learn how I personally react to competitive play. I found that I don't like how I feel while playing a TCG with serious players. Thank goodness for LCGs. Right there it is, Chad.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
It is not a ride for everybody.
This is cool. Jason also saying Lorcana's leagues right now are casual friendly. We don't know anything about Lorcana because we still haven't really been able to easily get the product, so it's just kind of lost interest entirely.
Yeah, I've heard a set came out recently and like a reprint. And can you even get it at this point?
Yeah, you can get the first set. I just read an article about this, but it wasn't actually selling very well. The first set people had moved on, but the second set sold like crazy.
Yeah, so actually, if you can humor me for a second, I don't want to detract you for too long, but that actually relates to a sorcery kind of. I'm seeing the tea leaves conversation. We've seen this 1,000 times. Not that. We've seen it probably 10 times. Which is apparently distribution is sold out of Sorcery beta. Retail's not. Like we still have it. There's various retailers online and places you can find it online, and I assume in person as well. But like a lot of people are like, oh, you got to reprint. Got this thing.
Yeah.
And that's always such a slippery slope. But like
really
Lorcana is a good example. The first set, the boxes were crazy. You couldn't find them, super expensive. Spreadsheet says print more. But man, in these games, and I'll tell you, we saw this with Star Wars Destiny specifically. I just remember it so poignantly. And even with FAB to an extent. Like when there's only 1 or 2 sets, all your buying pressure is on those 1 or 2 sets. It's the only thing you can get. People are buying like with Destiny, way more than they eventually will buy of like set 5.
Yeah. And also your first sets are where your speculators are.
Sure. Yeah.
That's a big part of it too. That's why there's so much pressure there.
But I just remember like when it was just Awakening and I was deciding how many boxes to buy. It's like, well, I want everything and I want to have multiple decks built because this is all we got.
Yeah.
And then meantime, some people can't even get product. And I'm like, I don't know if I should have bought like, do I have a moral? I don't know. Anyways, so Lorcana, that's a very unconnected to us example, but I would not be surprised if you do 2 things. One, if you print a lot more, and then you also put out a second set. You've now, even as a new player looking to buy the game, it's like, well, now I might buy a little set 1, a little set 2. Whereas previously, I would have just bought set 1. And if the feeling is there's enough product here, instead of just buying, like previously, if I ran into set 1, it would have been like, I'll take it all.
Yeah, it's the crazy thing in it.
Yeah, so there's this like weird psychology thing with supply and demand and games and stuff. So like in Destiny, the example there was set 1 came, sold out. They pushed that 2 back so they could reprint set 1. By the time the reprint showed up, the people that had there's some number of people that had set 1 that were like, okay, I'm kind of bored at this point. Meantime, some of the people that would have bought set 1 at first, their friends that got bored and got out no longer want the game because, you know, my friends aren't playing anymore, so whatever. And then it comes out, so some people get the game and stuff. But now your second set is pushed back, so the people that had the game early have to wait longer to engage with more.
Yeah.
And then you have a reprint show up and you have a second set show up, and now you've got 2 sets to buy. So you reduce buying pressure like immensely. And all of a sudden, the narrative is like, this game is way overstocked. And then the price of the boxes goes way down. So going into set 3, everyone's like, well, I'm not touching it. Retailers and players alike of like, I'll buy some, but like,
yeah.
Who, you know, I don't want it to be half the price I'm paying for it up front. So like, I'll just wait and see. But then that creates this mentality of like, wait and see, which then means everyone has too many boxes and the prices go down.
Yeah.
So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It really goes back to that When Success Isn't Enough podcast that we did.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, everybody's happy. There are players that can use more. Nobody's out. Like it's not just totally dry. So I don't know. Like, do you even... I kind of long for a world where we sets just were there and then you didn't get it and you go to the next one.
Yeah.
You know, like, which, and then you do a reflection set like 3 sets later, which can fill in the gaps.
Sure. Like alphaclash is kind of doing that.
Yeah.
And I think it's tough because once you say we're not reprinting, speculation gets rampant.
Yeah, man.
So like, it's this weird can't really win position, but all that to say, if you're a sorcery player or a store and like you don't have product, I think it's a really complicated decision to be making on the print side. It's so easy to overprint, and overprinting has as many problems as underprinting does.
Right.
When a lot of times, like if Destiny had just used the extra bandwidth to print more set 2, I think they would have been in a lot better spot.
Especially if your sets are designed in a way that your sets can create decks among themselves that are good.
Yeah.
And you don't need the 5 cards from set 1 to make this work at all.
You don't have to have them.
Yeah.
And in Sorcery's case, one of the biggest blessings, right? For FAB, that's a way bigger problem because you can't just have set 1 not be available, actually. And they have an even worse problem because they don't rotate. So like at this point, it's like you need cards from the entire history of the game. So you can't just have that policy. The Sorcery, 1 set a year, they have the luxury. Technically right now, I think as long as you can get the starters from set 1 or starters in general.
Yeah, those pre-con decks are so good.
Yeah. That's what I would be doing. Make sure those stay in print. And then maybe they talked about doing a revised edition someday, and like who knows what that ends up looking like. I don't know. Like that was an early there's confusion around beta and revised and all that stuff. So we'll see what they do, but it is such a collectible games are such a slippery on a lot of different
I dare say I've seen more people go over than under.
But yes. In fact, it's almost the natural thing that happens every time.
Yeah.
If success happens, we sell out, then we overprint either that set, reprint, and also the next set, or just the next set.
Yeah.
And then that creates a spiral the other direction.
And then, like, how do you not do that? Because players are saying, I can't get the product, I want to play this game, and you're looking at those comments saying, like, oh, I'm failing as a publisher, I need to get these.
I mean, FAB with Monarch, right?
Oh, yeah.
You have at that point, boxes are pre-selling for $500 a box.
Yeah.
You have 5,000 plus stores telling 3 to 6 different distributors, I want 500 boxes. Then you have 5 distributors telling you as the publisher, hey, I would take 100,000 if you gave them to me. Mm-hmm. And you're like, well, we'll give each of you 20. I don't know what the actual numbers are. And surely, like, that'll sell out immediately. And then it shows up and, like, it doesn't. Uh-oh. Emperor has no clothes. But that's a problem, right? And then, like, you paid to print all these products and, like, you took all this risk on this inventory and you were making projections and plans and it's a whole thing. But it's a fine line.
Alejandro Gonzalez Lara says, I think it shows how much a company cares about their game when they invest in the competitive scene. It feels like they reciprocate the commitment players have on the game. And I think that is a hot take.
So
that is not universally felt by everybody in a community of the TCG.
I do think on some level it can be true. Mm-hmm. Like when FAB at Worlds says, we're upping the stakes 50% to 1.5 million. As a player, it's like, oh, this must mean things are going well. This game is here to stay. Mm-hmm. And also they're willing to put their money where their mouth is and invest in the continued success of this paradigm and to own what they're saying, which is the best competitive game on the market. Mm-hmm. But if Sorcery came out right now and we're like, hey, we're doing a $500,000 organized play program, personally, I don't think I would feel any more like they're invested in it.
No, but what if they came out and said, we are going to pay all of our artists more. We're going to invest $500,000 more into Arthurian Legends in our art budget. We'd be like,
yep,
that's incredible.
Yeah, it's like
Sorcery's
you know
crushing
what? I'll buy a couple more beta boxes. Yeah, let's support the cause.
Yeah, exactly.
Which honestly,
that just shows how different these vibes that you cannot copy paste from one game to another.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the problem with people saying this is how Magic did it. This is how you should do it. Magic was such a like unique scenario, unique time. I mean, everything about that is just like good luck. That's a totally different paradigm that you're living in. But yeah, like I would way rather see them doing awesome stuff with artists that either result in better art for the game or more art for the game or whatever it is. And that's where you get into like the dust system. And it's like, oh, we're gonna add 10 new alt art promos to the system. And we're going to pay the artist this way, and we're going to make these things available with that art on it or whatever. That makes way more sense to me for their paradigm. It gets me way more excited.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, if I can earn dust from buying product or participating locally or going to some convention or whatever, go give Simon a high five at a convention or whatever, that gets me jazzed up. Like I would love to see that because it is all about that.
Yeah. Taylor Evelyn coming in here. So for me, Flesh and Blood and Sorcery simply scratch different parts of what card games can be. Anything else like organized play, PvE, pack structure, art, philosophy, etc., that all comes second to having fun.
It's so cool having these comments on the screen with the faces.
Like seeing that, yeah. What's up, Taylor? It's good to see your face
now.
There.
Don't do things with your avatar that you shouldn't be doing. But this is great. Like someone's get us,
It's got a filter, I'm sure. Sammy Nunes, hey, real quick, just talking some business. I pre-ordered Earthborne Ranges. When do you guys think you'll be able to ship it? We're pretty certain that it will be here this week, so shipping will start late this week or next week, if all goes according to plan.
You're planning to send out an email when that starts, right?
So it'll be very soon. Yeah, we're on it, and it's looking really good. No
really.
Issues.
The original promise on the website was Q4, basically, but aspirationally, we wanted to get those out prior to Christmas, if at all possible. This is like a perfect Christmas game to me.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Garda Darcy and Aloha, Garda. And Peter, played 90s Magic. Cheating was basically considered legitimate skill, and you had to watch your opponent closely. So that's kind of getting back to what we're saying there.
Like that being allowed, right? And that's a culture setting thing.
Yeah. Justin Derringer, speaking of culture, saying the silver rule, use common sense and be cool is the silver rule in the Sorcery rulebook. Ryan Thacker, good question. Do you think FAB should adopt a living card game type product instead of boosters? Alongside Certainly not in addition to, you can't make that pivot. But could you develop a LCG style PvE variant alongside the competitive play?
I think you could. If you were going to, I think that makes sense. But
is that also a way to fill in the back catalog of set 1, 2, 3, 4 instead of history packs? Like, it kind of gets back to this thing, why are we opening packs if we're not doing limited formats with them?
Right, which is, they are making the pivot next year. They announced at Worlds they're doing 3 sets and all 3 are draftable, which to me, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
That's not the whole point. That's a large part of the point. I think the other point is it's an economic model that actually is sustainably profitable for a publisher, whereas LCGs routinely are, as long as you also aren't trying to do organized play. But we've seen that time and again. Competitive LCGs inevitably struggle because the resources you have to invest based on the amount of money it generates for you as a publisher and for stores, it's just not enough.
It's never enough
to actually do that in a meaningful way. Like we saw it most with Thrones, where our local Thrones community and regional and the worldwide, it's like you want the full organized play card game experience of a CCG on an LCG budget. And unfortunately, that's just like...
You just don't have the budget.
Yeah.
You don't
like
have the money.
If we were a publisher, a competitive LCG is like the last horizon I would try to approach.
Or unless you're able to say, these packs are $50.
Sure.
And here is why that is worth paying for.
Yeah.
It gets in that misaligned incentive thing, but if I was selling a chapter pack for $50 and saying, it's the cards, it's exactly what you need to play, we're going to include a little sheet that gives you a seasonal guide like we talked about, I think, last week on ban list. But what this is also doing is $20 of every pack sale is going to go into this circuit that is going to allow you to compete at a wide... Maybe people will pay it. I don't know. Maybe you have to trick them effectively psychologically with collectible things that are more rare than other things to pursue that in opening packs and hoping to get lucky pulling stuff. Maybe that's the only way to do it. I don't know how human beings work. I mean, I do more so than ever, actually. But we don't need to go into that, do we?
That's a topic for another stream.
Peter saying, I loved watching players allow take-backs at center at the Sorcery Championship at Gen Con. Yeah. Yeah. Because it doesn't matter. Like, it does matter, but what matters way more is that you're allowing the take-back than you winning that game. Yeah. It's just an amazing thing how that can be the case.
Yeah, like I had an example sort of that at a call-in in Dallas. I was playing against my opponent, and I could tell he was a little nervous. And it took his first turn 0. He's like doing his stuff, and then he arsenals, and he goes, I forgot my tunic. I'm like, dude, just take the tunic counter.
Yeah, take the tunic counter.
I do not, like, just take it.
We've been
just
there.
Take it. Yeah, it's
not worth it. It's not worth it. I love it. Justin Derringer saying, I hate the one set a year argument. I want the one set a year. It lets people spend their money better. And then Chad Stilson, once a year also means play testers have more time to make sure it's great before release. And Eric's talking about this. Again, quality of the product.
Yep.
Right? We need time to get all of this hand-painted art finished by, mind you, artists. So, like, that's a 6 to 8 month buffer of delivery time.
So we've been going through the build out of this space.
Yeah.
And that's not even an artist, right? This is just like contractors.
Contractors are a certain kind of artists.
But
I could
the
put
reality
one word
is,
in front of it for sure.
It's like a couple of third parties involved.
Yeah.
But we're talking about hundreds of pieces of art from 10 to 20 to 30 different artists. Like, that is so variable.
Yeah.
It's actually absurd. Let alone playtesting and printing and production and getting products over. Like, I actually can't. I so don't envy the position of any publisher who's trying to release something every 3 or 4 months.
Yeah. Well, you see what happens.
It's chaos.
You see what happens, right? I mean, FAB is just barely squeaking by, but they had massive balance problems. Mm-hmm. But again, they're trying to jam out these sets, and so to find your footing and all of that, it took Magic a long time to do it. They've been through everything, and I think FAB is having to get there as well.
Well, and I think you need a certain scale because they were in the middle of a pandemic, rolling out an organized play system on top of these sets rolling out, and so even the organized play, like you can tell, last year a lot to be learned. This year, their footing was way better. The Pro Tour in March coming up, it was the first time we knew the location of the Pro Tour before any of the ProQuest season had started, that you're qualifying for that Pro Tour.
Yeah, right on.
They're getting better, and they're doing more, and they're improving. And so you can see that happening. But even from a balance standpoint, it's a lot, especially the new publisher. Like, I think the scale you need to be doing all the things that Legend Story is doing is also on a different level than most publishers could ever dream of getting to.
It's a different level, yeah. I really want to just take this question from Peter here, or a statement.
Right,
Sorcery needs more product available. Got to have it at LGSs. Sold out of distributors, and LGSs can't order it. Let me tell you one of these things, Peter, that has really been on my mind that we've just been
I'm going to open the chocolate on this one. You just, you keep talking.
We've just been tossing back and forth. The paradigm has entirely shifted. It's over. It's over. The internet has fundamentally changed everything, as we've seen in many other industries. There is no difference between local stores and online stores anymore. They do not have a separating anything aside from just a, what does the shop owner want to do? Let me give you an example. Hold on a second, John. Let me
tell me more.
Let me pull this up.
John, you want to try this chocolate?
Yeah. I'll see what's pulling it up. I'll enjoy some chocolate. I was wondering if we could get a wind up on this one. Ooh, it's got the little crunchies in it.
Dude, it's so good. Steven, would you like some chocolate?
Oh, it's really good. Wow.
Yep. Thank you, Joshua Scott.
Yeah, I do.
Get in there. We'll break it off.
Thank you, Joshua. Mr. Scott.
Yeah, thank you for the chocolate. And thank you for all the work you do.
Man, I love chocolate like this.
It's so good.
That fruit in there.
Yeah, fruit's amazing.
And biscuit pieces?
Biscuit pieces.
English biscuits.
You know how I feel about biscuits.
Who doesn't?
I think they're the best bread.
Man, that's good. Only 33% cocoa, huh?
Well, cocoa's bitter, right? I went to a chocolate factory. Where was I? Scotland last year. And it was really fascinating. Walked through the whole history and how chocolate's made and all the different. They give you a little. I really like bitter chocolate.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I'm a big fan. Okay, John, can you take me to the HDMI?
Bagel TCG. Really nice to meet you at Worlds, and everyone that came up to me at Worlds and said something. It really meant a lot. You guys. It was just good timing. It really hearing from everybody was amazing, from tons of different European countries and all over.
Here we are on tcgplayer.com.
What's that curve down there? Jeez, man. When do we get into market videos?
Not ideal. Yeah, you want to get the whiteboard? We'll give Rudy a run for his money here. Listen.
I know I love them, whiteboards.
The people selling this product right now, this is a $52 booster box, well under the map that Flesh and Blood still has on this product, which is 35% off. Can't enforce it. You know why they can't enforce it? Because this is not online sellers. Like, these are not people like us or...
Hey, who's Removal Wins Games?
Removal Wins Games. Who's this? Nobody knows. Dublin Cards, who's that? If I sell product to somebody, they can put it up on TCG Player and sell it to somebody else. That's a fine thing to do. These are LGSs. So... yeah, you say like you want more boxes in local stores, but the moment that local stores are not selling it instantly in person, this is where it ends up.
At whatever price it needs to end up to get out.
And there's no control. You cannot stop it. You cannot change it. You cannot even have visibility on it. It's almost like a virus. The moment that your immune system hits the inflection point, it takes over. And that inflection point for a game like Sorcery or FAB, like we're seeing here, is the moment that these boxes are not immediately leaving retailer shelves. This is what's going to happen. And every retailer in the country is trying to outcompete each other retailer on this website. And they're going to continue going lower and lower and lower until their boxes sell.
Well, and this is one of the, apparently, the fees and percentages and stuff are kind of the worst here compared to directly selling on your own website or directly selling on like eBay or whatever. So I would be curious. This is a little live test. Can you pull up Lorcana? Let's just say Lorcana set 1, which is as of recent, as far as I know, this is like impossible to get. What's Exodus TCG?
There's so many on here we've never even heard of. Disney Lorcana. Where is it? Nobody actually uses this. You should just search.
I'm just curious.
Booster box. Will that do it? I'm searching like a grandfather.
All right.
I'm sorry.
First chapter. Do we have just the booster box?
First chapter booster box. $240.97.
No. Look. See the look at the chart.
Look at there's your local stores. Supplying the player base right there.
That's the other problem.
What's up with that?
If you don't print enough, which we saw with FAB and Monarch, right? All the boxes they sent to stores are selling for $500+ a box. Not all stores, but a lot of stores. And I've seen stores with Lorcana selling MSRP. What is MSRP? Is there an MSRP?
I think they said no. I don't remember what they said, Zach.
Does anyone know what the price of a Lorcana box is?
It's only 24
supposed
packs
to be
in this bad boy, dude.
$10 a pack? That can't be MSRP.
They are crushing it,
be.
man. But yeah, so what's going to happen here is this is all going to be this. And then tomorrow, there's going to be everybody who hasn't sold is going to go to 230. And then the next day or two, they're going to go to 220. And they're going to get eventually, if Lorcana has printed too much, they're going to get to 10 at the end of all of this. And so the mutual goals, we can go away from HDMI, Jonathan. Thank you for that. The goal that a publisher has and the goal that good local retailers have and the goal that players have can all be perfectly aligned. But there is no way to actually make sure that the goals that everybody here has are accomplished. There's no way that can happen because every retailer and distributor in the middle of those goals is there to do this. That's what they're going to do. And you don't blame them for it. If it's sitting on your shelf, you try to sell it. You got to get your money back so you can buy more product to make more money, to keep the lights on, to buy more product, to make more money, to keep the lights on. So how in the world do you as a publisher send X thousands more boxes into this system and presume that hopefully enough of the people getting these boxes are actually going to have them on their shelves in their local communities, selling to local players, building those play groups so that the game can thrive on a local level? What kind of a bet are you willing to make that are 50 to 60% of those boxes going to go to the discount bin? Are they going to start going on a TCG player and getting marked down? How many are the online retail side of the distribution equation going to buy out ahead of time? And then, of course, low prices, fast shipping them.
Well, and I think part of the struggle with getting more product to local at this point, generally, okay, let's say you queue up a print run, right? Let's say you print, I don't know, 10, 20, 30,000. Who knows what the numbers on this are. I know the Kickstarter for Sorcery was about 30,000 boxes.
Yeah.
So who knows what they printed for beta? Presumably it's more, but again, I think it's smart to not reveal that information. So you hit print. As far as I know, that's going to be a 3 or 4 month process,
right,
to get it to show up. It shows up and you send it. So as you're saying, you can't control where it goes or how it's going to go. And so part of the problem is, and people talking online, it's like you can't play at your local game store. You got to buy where you're playing. And like the root of this problem to me,
it's what we've been saying for
dancing around
10 years,
is that the value that a local store is providing is not the transaction.
Yeah. Because
you can buy this product for cheaper, usually with free shipping, get it to your house in 2 days. All over the internet, you can buy it from tons of different stores. And I agree. I think that a place to play, somewhere that is going to educate and market and promote this game, host events, do all the things that a publisher wants a retailer to be doing, they do offer value. But
tons of value
to get product to them, you inevitably have to supply the other 90% of people who are going to end up with boxes online at $250 a box, or the inverse, which is where, you printed 20,000 extra boxes and the market only wants 1,000. So now your box price is going to go down for Sorcery to $80 a box or whatever it is. And then going into set 2, retailers are going to look at that and say, I can pay $75, $80 for a box that I can sell for $85 when it comes out. That's not appealing either. So it's a really fine line you have to walk as a publisher.
I don't know how to do it.
Yeah,
and honestly, I don't know how to do it.
I think the other part of this is they don't have control. And this is once you go to distribution, you don't control who it goes to. Even if you look at Sorcery and they have their dust system. And I thought this is where Legend Story was going to go, because they have their gem system with events and stuff. Players are playing more regularly. Can we actually impact allocation of product on that information? So if you are routinely hosting a weekly armory with 25 people at your store, you're doing what Legend Story wants you to be doing.
Right.
So it would make sense to me that they would get access to more product than the retailer who hosts 0 events, right? But distribution, pull the curtains back a little bit, doesn't work like that. Distribution is going to give the most product to their best clients.
Right.
And their best clients sell the most product. And the people that sell the most product probably aren't selling all that product locally in their store, right? We even saw, what was the name of that YouTube channel of the Magic store?
Gone Rogue Games.
Gone Rogue Games talking about, he's trying to up his volume online so that he can get access to more product and get into the fancy WPN network to host certain events to ultimately make it better for his local players. But like his methodology for doing that is selling products online at a cheaper price so his volume is up. So the next time he's purchasing, not even just Magic, the next time he's purchasing Sorcery, he has a better window to get product and get guaranteed supply in when this is happening. The whole system is pretty wild.
Well, because at the bottom of it, the only visibility you have is dollar signs.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you know. Who is a better client than somebody else based exclusively on my metrics, which is profit at the end of the year as a distributor.
Now, here's my question, which is like back in the Destiny and Fab early on are good examples of this. But okay, Sorcery came, sold out a distro. Stores that were carrying this product sold out. Unless the amount of product that they sold out of is tiny, then the stores that got access to product have already profited pretty notably off of this product. You got 100 boxes of Sorcery, you're probably making 7,000 to 10,000 if you're selling MSRP. Let's just assume you're selling MSRP, which is seemingly the market price right now, loosely.
Yeah.
So to me, the perfect balance would be you're making enough product that stores buy product, are confident they can sell at MSRP, and are confident the majority of that product is going to sell in the first month. Because if it takes longer than a month, it's going online at the cheapest price just to get the cash out.
Yeah,
that's just the thing. Yeah, maybe I'm being maybe generous in this. And so the question is, if every time you release a set of Sorcery as a store, it's like, let's say you knew you were going to have 100 boxes. No store that sells out of 100 boxes every time is not going to buy 100 boxes next time.
You'd think so.
Like until they don't sell 100 boxes, I would assume they're going to keep buying 100 boxes. And the question mark is, if what you're actually valuing from the store, part of it maybe is the transaction, but is it the events? Is it the local community? Is it the even starter sets? Like, can you make starter sets permanently available? That would probably go a long way to helping all this. But point of it is, I think you can undersupply, in which case you have a Monarch situation where $500 boxes because all the supply is going to local. And you can over, and that makes it really unappealing to buy the next set. Yeah. Like if it's too widely available, then local retailers, and we've seen it, as much as it is a nice idea.
I've seen it a million times, Zach.
That you buy from where you play and that you're willing, and I have the X-Wing story I tell all the time. That was just like such a wake-up call back in, 2013. Good friend of mine buying $200 or $300 for the X-Wing when a new set came out from us, but very clearly saying, the only reason I'm doing this is because I'm your friend. Because like I could have bought these same things online and saved $100. Yeah. So I'm now asking you to pay me $100 to exist.
Effectively.
And that's just a problem.
It's a huge problem. Imagine right now that all the local stores in the country weren't selling products at all. We're somehow finding a way to be financially feasible. And then people could get Sorcery wherever they could find it and then play with it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just imagine a world where that's the basic math, it's like then nobody really cares as long as the product's available somewhere.
Yeah.
If you can get the product somewhere, then you don't have to worry about anything. So once you start tying all these threads together and you say, well, what is the direct mechanism a publisher gets a Sorcery box onto the shelf of a local retailer? It does not exist. And in fact, the hazards along the way of trying to accomplish that are so great that all retailers end up losing whenever you try to push that lever even a little bit past conservative.
Yeah.
So what are you left with? And then players suffer. Local retailers who actually want to build communities through retail sales suffer. And then the big winners are going to be your distributors, your online retailers. And then even they lose in the end because they cut their own legs out.
Yeah.
I've seen it so many times. And it is currently an unsolved problem. And it is one of the things that is tremendously holding back this industry. So maybe we'll set that loose at some point.
That's the goal, my friends.
That is the goal. I'm glad you thought so too.
Hey, what we got news to cover? Anything else?
We got to cover some news.
It's been a while since we've done this.
Frank Levy, this is a good comment. Somehow Null Signal, they're the ones that are caretaking Netrunner, seem to be able to do it, but maybe you need the nonprofit model for competitive LCGs to work. They're a nonprofit. Right, so that does change the game a little bit.
Yeah, they're nonprofit and notably, as far as I can tell, selling only directly. So that's another piece of that. Once you go distribution, publishers are giving up 60% of their margin.
Yeah,
to access those places.
Dude, LCGs direct make a ton of sense.
Yeah,
that's why Christians go into Keyforge GameFound.
Yep. Kickstarting first every set.
100%.
I mean,
100%. That's why Soulforge Fusion is pulled in that direction.
Yep.
Right?
It just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Ooh, Andrew's in the chat. I didn't see he's responding to a comment too, which is great. So let's see. Andrew always gets into trouble in here, and I like it. I really like that. He always actually says what he thinks, which is just absolutely scary.
Papo saying stores should start selling table time. Like if you're not gonna buy anything and take up space, charge them So yes and no. Like I get it. It's like the whole industry is accustomed to that not being a thing. And so as long as there's this kind of mentality of I buy products here, so you're going to provide this as an ancillary service, a mixed model format is it's tough, and it's tough to change that culturally, and it's tough to make the switch of this space is worth paying for. Because a lot of game stores I've been into are not, just being very candid. So I would love to see that. I would love to see a lot of stores worth paying to be in. And we have aspirations of our own in that category. So check out 3.0 at some point in 2020s. It's just expand the range sometime this decade. We're trying, but you know what? It's hard. I think that's honestly fundamentally what we're pursuing is how do we make a space and an offering so great it's worth paying to be in. And
are you giving away our secrets? I'm catching up with the chat.
Hey man, if someone can crack it, I'll go for it. You know what I mean? Like I just want to see it happen. If we happen to be the ones making it happen, that would be lovely.
Talking about Star Wars Unlimited, look at Andrew coming in, former head of studio for the Fantasy Flight games.
Oh, he's got some tea to spill, I'm sure.
Flight constantly getting this reputation of can't do organized play and can't maintain games. I mean, one of the fundamental problems is they were the trendsetters who were the ones that discovered that LCGs at a competitive level, even though we try it different kinds of ways, don't exactly work. So like, it's kind of an unfair criticism to be like, they screwed up all their organized play. And it's like, nobody's solved for this type of game, and they invented the format. They invented the format.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure Netrunner was doing all right.
Yeah.
And
lost the license.
But I also think that having kind of come out of it, because I think 2010 to 2018 was a very unique period of time where there were not a lot of new TCGs on the market.
Yeah.
And just kind of getting back into it with Destiny, followed by FAB, trying to think about like Conquest LCG being a competitive game and competing against FAB. If you're a competitive, theme is a thing, 40K, Netrunner, whatever. Mm-hmm. But like CCGs can do the competitive thing so much better.
Yeah.
From the release schedule to draft and sealed to the ability for them to invest in those things.
Do you want to know the easiest one? I can give you booster packs for winning a tournament.
Yeah.
Do you know how fundamentally important that is? What do you do when somebody wins your Warhammer Champions tournament or your Warhammer Conquest tournament? Great job. You did it. Or I've got to rely on a publisher to print some tokens to send to a store. There's so many different hands taking money out of that pot to hopefully get it there. And it all goes to eBay anyway, so what does it freaking matter?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Now, I will say, like if you're Sorcery and stores are truly out of product, and what you want them to be doing is hosting things. Mm-hmm. I think a very thing you can do is look at the stores that are creating dust and be like, hey, we're going to send you these playmats and promos that you can use however you'd like. Like if you want to charge $10 for an event for people to be in your space and to do this stuff, this would be a cool way to do it. And then suddenly stores have an incentive and a way to make money that isn't tied to selling booster boxes or that whole elaborative system. But they can invest a lot in that kind of thing.
Or you start selling your boxes for $120 to distribution. See if they want to take a crack at it. How much do you really believe in the product? Andrew Devara, though, coming back to this fair criticism, but it's been a long time since the last big organized play endeavor for FFG, and a lot has changed since then. I have no insider info, but I'm sure it's top of mind for them. And of course, what has changed is Andrew is no longer there. So their success is ahead of them, I'm sure.
Sick burn, man.
We got
it. Sick burn. What's this Big Hank comment?
See, this is Jason coming in here. Jason Gleason. You can't play games in an online store. Local stores are essential for building communities. LGS are in a rough place because they have to compete against internet prices, spin where you play, and you address that. I mean, it's like, but it isn't going to work. You can't will it into existence. It's like saying, I'm going to throw this apple in the air and gravity is not going to bring it down to earth. This is just how it's going to happen. You cannot continue this paradigm and expect it to be successful. It is not going to work.
Yeah, and that's
it has to be something different here.
Like you said, Gone Rogue Games was the name of the channel. I mean, you see it, and you see it in other places and stuff. Like the competition, because the other part of this is not only are you competing against that, actually as a local store. What you're also competing against is every other local store.
Right.
And a lot of people dream about owning a local store, and so there's this constant new entrance to this market
that
you're competing with. And it's like, oh yeah, you might have the FAB community in Tulsa right now, but like new store opens and they're hungry to get people in their doors. And so it's like they will, and that's where you end up with, I see this all the time, and I don't ever engage, but sometimes I want to. People basically complaining that their stores for Fab don't offer more than just the prize kit.
Right.
Whatever comes in a Pro Quest. In my mind, it's like, this is already 10 miles ahead of anything I ever experienced in like FFG land. Not a knock on FFG, but like when you can win qualification to a Pro Tour and a card worth $1,000, like that's better than a World Championship for some of the FFG.
That's pretty cool.
I have Star Wars LCG playmats from getting like, winning this event. It's like that was worth $100 at one point. Like, anyways, point of it being, they complain because they're used to. In Magic, this happens all the time. This aggressive competition to get players, right? Because players plus product sales is how you rank up in the WPN system, which gets you access to product, which is how you make money, which is how you pay the bills. But there's always a store somewhere that's willing to do just a little bit more.
Yeah.
And like, they can do it for 6 months and then they go out of business.
That's it.
And it's your problem though, because you're competing against it.
No, they don't go to. They send you out of business and then they go out
of business. And then they go out of business.
That's how
so
it
that
always
the next
works.
guy is.
We lost 2 in Tulsa the past year or two. The tavern place went out. Who knows what they were up to?
Yeah.
And another one went out. And you're going to see this concept. You see this in a lot of industries. There's always people coming in with great ideas who aren't building a sustainable business model. They get the shiny object out in front of people. All of that business transfers, but it transfers because they're doing things that are unsustainable. So now sustainable store can no longer make money, so they go under. Now unsustainable store realizes eventually they're unsustainable. Oh my gosh, we can't get out from under all this capital we've invested. We're in debt. Now we go under. 2 game stores are gone where one was sustainable before.
Yeah.
It is going to continue happening. I mean, it's everywhere. And it's not the only industry where this is happening at all. Do we even know what we're doing? Is this format working?
I'm going to let you guys go today. Zach's got a lot on his mind.
Well, I mean, we haven't done this in a minute. Also, like, we haven't been doing the podcast most of the year, and there's been a lot on my mind. So, and these are hot button topics.
This is effectively a podcast now.
Yeah.
And chat's killing it too.
Chat's right in here, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, let's get to the news then.
Yeah.
Yes, we can talk about Unlimited eventually. I think we'll do a full Unlimited maybe next week or week after, or maybe 2024.
Week after you're gone. So,
long story short, it ain't happening. Not on our side.
I mean, we can talk about it. Let's just talk about it next week.
We'll tell you why next week.
Yeah, tune in next week.
Tune in next week.
Are we also? Let's just figure this out live.
Unlimited.
So we're gonna talk about Star Wars Unlimited next week discussion.
Okay.
And then, are we doing alphaclash?
Yes.
Because that's coming out on Friday.
We will be playing
That's part of the
alphaclash
news, I'm
next
sure.
week. Yeah. 100%.
This is going to be a weird sentence, but I cannot wait to play Death.
Yeah.
I've been looking forward to that for a very long time. Yeah. So
you're also kind of an aggressive emo type psychological.
Death makes sense.
Player.
She's got like the rib cage on and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that'd be a good pairing of things to be talking about. Play alphaclash. We can talk about Unlimited.
Are you connecting Death to Star Wars Unlimited? Is that
maybe Star Wars? Maybe Star Wars.
Okay.
News.
Let's start with alphaclash. I don't need the HDMI yet, John. I'll give you a clear signal when I need it.
Will do.
alphaclash. Set 2 is officially releasing this week. That's going to be Friday is the release date. So as usual, through our subscriptions, we'll be shipping that probably Wednesday, Thursday timeframe. Get that out the door early. Hopefully get it to the most players that we can on release day without breaking that street date. That's the game that we play.
Things to note is if you have not been charged yet or there's not an order on your account, then you signed up too late.
You ain't getting it.
You're not getting it, but we will have that product in stock on the website. Should be Friday-ish. So if you want to order that, all orders on our website. Almost died.
Yeah, it's emotional. All these orders.
all orders on our website ship within a business day, unless otherwise noted. So if you put that order on Friday, I would expect it to ship Friday or Monday, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I had some questions coming on the community texting that we do about
also, any of you really locked in types, you really, people who really are into.
I would say an hour and a half deep into this rant of a stream.
I think I'll go lower collar on this
Ooh.
one. Hey, alphaclash is looking for playtesters.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you want to do that, go over to their Discord, and I think there's a notice or an announcement somewhere about the playtesters.
That's cool.
So you can make your voice heard and
actively shape the future of a game.
Zach will never beat me.
They did of any skill level.
Of any skill level, that's right. You wanted the game tested by everybody. They had an eBay partnership too. Did you guys see that on Instagram?
I saw the card that has a little eBay logo 1 of 500.
You saw it.
I don't know what that means.
So there's some kind of a partnership with eBay. I don't know. They're wiling out, man. They're hitting so many different angles because they're also doing the kind of comic book collector thing. And so this is they're kind of getting the crossover people who just collect comics and
serialized
like that vibe and serialized stuff. And then they're getting the play, and they got some big events planned and those kinds of things. And then they've got the sets releasing about once every 3 months, 2.5 months. And they got that draft thing coming up. They got all sorts of, I don't know. I like that they're just
cooking.
They're just cooking.
They're cooking. Yeah.
They're finding ways to make it interesting. Let's go over to the HDMI. Jonathan, if you'll take me there. Arkham Horror, the card game. Alessandra Zorzi, the Countess.
What is this?
I still just have such fond thoughts about this game.
That was a cool little graphic that came in. Yeah. I hadn't seen it animate like that.
You don't believe how much gets better when you leave.
I know. The screen's here too.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I should leave again. Maybe this weekend I'll go to Columbus or something.
Often.
I'm actually going to Columbus.
You'll love this, Zach. This is an investigator built around the parlay action.
I like that she's a drifter.
A drifter and a socialite. You may take an additional action during your turn, but it can only be used to parlay. Now, remember the fancy clothes we used to always want to run because they give you plus to your part. You can wear the fancy clothes.
Is it fine clothing?
Fine clothes, yeah. I think it's fine clothes. Superstar, if you succeed, choose a non-elite enemy at your location or revealed connecting location automatically evade. Playing under the rogue evasion theme, 7/7, good stat line. Seeing a rogue with a 4 book gets me excited. That's exactly the kind of thing that I would play.
That's pretty crazy. The 4-foot stat is also...
And who cares about the 2 fight? Like, that's kind of why you're here.
I mean, you just have a friend with a shotgun, you're fine.
Nice.
we know the truth. Yeah. That's how it goes, right?
Welcome to Arkham Horror, everybody.
Yeah.
Let's also go over to Eldritch Tongue. Look at this. This is a sweet asset. Beautiful art, right?
So sweet asset.
It's a sweet asset. It's a beautiful...
Oh, man.
It's excellent.
I'm glad I was not drinking something when you said that.
I tell you, the greatest disasters have happened on this stream around liquids. And pretty much you exclusively. Exclusively you, in fact.
Is that true?
Eldritch Tongue is a 2-cost asset.
I'm pretty sure you were at all incidents.
Yes, I'm too funny. You're the one drinking all the time. You may play events with parlay from your discard pile as if they were in your hand.
Seems good.
That's never going to be good, right? As an additional
recursion.
As an extra play, they get Lucas on the phone for this one.
Yeah.
You can spend a charge from Eldritch Tongue, and after the event resolves, remove it from the game. So we figured out that at least we have to let it.
You can't let it be infinite. Yeah.
But so we've got somebody who's very good at parlaying, and we've got some tools that now allow you to play parlay things out of your discard pile. And there has been cards that utilize a parlay action in new ways to like investigate and those kinds of things. So very stoked for that.
Parlay. Is this in the expansions coming out?
Yeah, the new one that's coming out. It's been coming out for about the past year. I know.
Man, they've switched to the condensed release format. I didn't think it would also mean they just like slow down. Mm-hmm. It's like there's less products. I expected
because Navarro's not there.
Cracking the whip.
Cracking the whip. Yeah. He'd have had 5 expansions out by now.
I have, yeah. Well,
5 expansions, 5 weeks.
I was gonna say he was the luminary behind 6-pack 6 weeks.
He's an ideas guy. It was. You know what the good thing about that was?
It's better than trying nothing, man.
That's exactly right. The way that it was working was not working.
That's sort of, honestly, that's how I feel about Bright Lights for FAB.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like Mechanologist. It's not my favorite. But at the end of the day, they keep trying stuff.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
I'm with you on it. I like to see that. That's why I like alphaclash. I like to see what they're cooking with, too. Hey, let's check out the Blight of Neverset over here on Ashes. Ashes is imminent. I believe this is the last preview from the Blight of Neverset that we're going to be enjoying. Now, what Blight of Neverset is, this is the 3rd of the 7 planned encounter sets that Ashes is releasing. So they've
in the Red Rain series.
A PvE mode called Red Rains, and it has multiple, basically it takes a deck of a certain magic type, it pairs it with an encounter that is kind of connected to that magic type. And then that way you can either just get that product and play those things together, or you can build your collection of encounters, and then you can build your own deck. And there's a campaign mode where you can advance your deck over time and play against these chimeras, which are these big baddies. Now, the feedback on Ashes solo in particular in our Discord has been nothing but utterly glowing. And these are not people who are easy to please, let me tell you. I'm in that Discord all the time. And it's not all unicorns, rainbows and stuff. They're very very opinionated folks, and they all say that this is the best. Well, I won't say they all say. Most of them say this is the best solo game that they have played.
I was impressed with the number of people that got in on PvE with Ashes and have said basically how much more often this shows up on their table compared to other games that have solo experiences.
Even the games that we like, Champions and Arkham.
Like, because Arkham really is not designed for solo.
Yeah, probably not.
You have to do the two-hand thing, or it's just not built for it.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear how Earthborne solo goes.
Well, Andrew tested it all the whole way as a solo player exclusively.
You trust his taste?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do too. Have you seen Earthborne?
Have I played? I mean, I played the game. I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop playing it. I'm purely obsessed with it.
It's someone asked me earlier if I had broken it out yet. So my schedule the last 5 weeks has been unbelievable.
Who could have designed such a schedule?
It didn't happen intentionally.
Oh.
I'll tell you that much.
It was not. Came down.
It was not by design.
Google event. Google event.
What'd you say? Google.
The Lord came down and put your calendar. Google. Put that on the Google calendar.
Oh yeah, there it is. There it is.
We'll send him to Barcelona next. He'll never see that coming.
We did the stream where Jonathan and I built decks at the same time, and then we did a stream where you built a deck with me.
Yeah.
And then you two ended up playing together, and I, because of this situation and knowing that I wasn't going to get to partake anytime soon, sort of buried my head in the sand. Because it's like with Arkham, I didn't want to know what was going to happen before it happened. So I both don't want to know the story, and also it's like your friends are hanging out without you.
Mm-hmm. They were, in fact.
So it's like, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy the beer I'm drinking where I'm at, and not think about the good time they're having over here. Although I did try to watch the stream last week on the plane.
Don't think about the beer you're not drinking.
Didn't work.
It's an old cowboy saying.
Yeah, my dad used to say that.
Mason Brantley, Ashes. See, this proves my point. Ashes is literally the only solo board game I've actively wanted to play. I've traveled with it multiple times to play in my hotel.
Dude, put it on the box.
Put it right there.
Perfect hotel travel game.
Where's Colby? Let's get him on the phone. Where's Nick? Where's Nikki?
You started saying names. You just kept going.
It was only three, really, of the ones that we often engage with.
What was that? Look at that! Wow,
that's what I'm looking at the whole time.
The purple around it. It's just like
this guy the whole time.
That guy looks like he's about to give a keynote and say some really interesting things. But first, I'm going to need everyone to finish the drinks in their hands. Yes, please finish what's in there.
All right, let's get back to Ashes. Check this out. All right, so as I've said many times, and I don't think you were here the past times we've been talking about Blight of Neverset, but you're a player of video games as well to some degree, like lightly, and games in general. Plant monsters are obviously always the worst.
Very annoying. Yeah,
because you can't. Plants are not inherently problematic; they're just always annoying. Like a T-Rex is going to eat you. A plant, rashes,
usually not
thorns.
Yeah. They're like annoying in a slow creeping kind of way.
Yeah.
Usually. Yeah. Or you get dropped in the middle of the jungle and then they're probably annoying for a lot of other reasons.
Or you don't have the Venus flytrap kind of thing. Mm-hmm. We got examples of this: Vine Whip and Bleed. Bleed is the most notable example here because it says the unit now has the following ability. Bleed 1. At the end of your turn, place 1 wound token on this unit. I presume you get multiple bleed tokens, so if you just keep getting bled.
Is that after you recover? Or is a turn different than a round?
Yes. Yeah, it is. And for various games, they do mean very different things. This particular game, Zach?
It's been a minute.
Would I have to look up?
Yeah. But someone out there knows.
I think it's a turn, just a turn.
Like I take a turn, you take a turn?
Or I think so.
We're all done. That's a turn. I think that's a round.
Main action, side action is a turn.
Yeah, so it's going to take one. It's going to go away well before it recovers.
Quickly.
Unless you're just like, I'm out. End of round.
Yeah, very quickly. Vine Whip. When this unit comes into play, attach a bleed conjured alteration to the opposing player's target leftmost unit. So, and this is the thorn aspect of the thing. It also has a creepy aspect from last week.
Creepy and thorn.
Yeah, thorn is just the worst. Look at this horrific gaze. Ugh. When that coming out? The opposing player's Phoenixborn cannot guard and is considered to be exhausted. That's annoying. Overgrowth. After this aspect or an adjacent aspect destroys a unit an opponent controls by attacking, deal 1 damage to that opponent's target Phoenixborn. That's a 4/3. Watch out for that one. And then Vampiric Roots. Who could forget the classic Vampiric ability? After it destroys a unit an opponent controls by attacking, remove 2 wound tokens from the Chimera. You get in a real lockdown situation there.
This is the one that's about to come out.
This is the one that's about to come out, yeah.
We also, we haven't played one that did come out.
There's one that we have not played.
I still have it on my desk at home that used to be the
Frostborn Scourge. Those were the tough times.
I've been missing Ashes.
Me too.
In my heart.
Hey, I've got a crazy idea for an Ashes series with the Playmats.
Okay.
It was on the launch.
Approved.
Yeah. We would have to play 6 games.
Like live or produced?
I think maybe all in a row, like at a big event.
Okay. Like a self-contained tournament.
I'll just give you the idea. I don't know that this will pass go. We might have to cut it down.
I already approved it. It's on the way.
Basically, we have 7 playmats, each of them corresponding to a school of magic.
Yeah. Do we have any of those? Those things are crazy.
Yeah, all of them. All 7 of them.
I mean, you don't have to.
We showed them all last week.
Okay.
We take these 7 playmats.
Oh, hello. Let me just grab one.
You can grab them all if you want. You haven't really seen them.
You can take one out, and I'd be like, oh, I have to play ceremonial.
So now we have a mono ceremonial deck built. We have a mono charm deck built. We have a mono illusion deck built. You can imagine the pattern from there.
Okay. But what about nature? Is there a mono nature?
There will be a mono nature.
Oh, okay, cool.
Nature, yeah. So you take 3 decks. I take 3 decks. The 7th gets the bye in the first round.
Okay, so it's like a top 8 bracket.
Top 8 bracket, and we play the decks on their corresponding playmats, and the winner, their playmat advances to the next round.
Okay.
So then we cut to a top 4 where we have the 4 schools of magic playing against, and then we have a finals between this playmat and that playmat. And the winning playmat, something happens. Either somebody gets one for free, or we do something crazy.
Interesting, because the magic type wins.
The magic type wins.
There's some fun things we could do off of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is there's got to be an idea there. But I would love the opportunity to play a tournament of Ashes that is suitable for you and I, which is the decks can't be that good because they're mono magic. So you can't do like the one of splash crazy, I'm a Ashes bus master.
And a what?
What is that? The shuffle? Is it shuffle bus still? Yeah, shuffle bus. Yeah.
I think they stopped doing their thing.
And the Phoenix League as well. Phoenix League. You guys can join the Phoenix League. Check that out. That's going on in the Ashes Discord as well.
Okay. Yeah, I love it.
Okay.
And that would just be one gigantic stream.
I think so. It would be too much to record all of those games and produce all of those games.
We could record the finals.
But we could record the finals.
That'd be fun. Or not. You guys decide.
I like it being a big event too.
Yeah.
And then maybe the winning deck faces off against the Blighted Everset. And then if they win, and then something else happens, who knows?
Crazy. You could also have the top 2 decks just play against the Everset.
That'd be a nice.
And then instead of it being this
very nice
one
thing.
Winner, those 2 win, and maybe we do something with the pair.
Oh, they play the once the Blight is killed, they kill each other.
The old
last man standing.
What's the name of that? Double Dragon? No. What was the video game?
The boxing?
Something Dragon.
Double Dragon was definitely a video game.
Like you're going, and then all of a sudden at the end, after you beat the boss, it's like
I think that
there
was
can
Double
only
Dragon.
be one, and then you have to fight each other.
I don't know. I never beat it. It was too hard. We could not beat it. We couldn't beat it. I never really beat Battletoads either.
That was the game I was telling you about my mom. My brother Daniel finally convinced my mom to play, and they beat it. And then they'd never been to the end. And it was like, you have to fight each other. So she just starts, and she kills him. And he was like so upset with her for like months. He's when he was growing up, he's like one of the most aggressively competitive, worst competitors. Like hated to lose.
Really?
Very emotional about it. So she wins the first time they ever win that game. Yeah, it was
I see now why you mastered it in the.
That's like one of those core. Vengeance.
Yeah. Explosive pods. Check this out. At the start of the Chimera's turn, remove a status token from this unit. It comes in with 3. If that was the last status token, deal 2 to all units the opposing player controls. So it's just sitting there. It's a plant. It's just sitting there.
It's a plant.
You got to waste time killing it, and if you don't, you know what's going to happen. And I'm sure there are cards that advance the status counters before you expect them to. And then finally, Withering Rot. At the start of the Chimera's turn, remove 1 status token from this unit. If you do, the opposing player may discard 1 card of their choice from their hand. Of course, they don't want to, so if they don't, deal 1 damage to their Phoenixborn.
Okay.
They're just creeping around.
I love it.
Planting around.
I'm very excited to try this. And the one we missed. The one we haven't played yet because the studio was down.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a marathon.
Yeah, I feel like we need something for either the top 2 magic types or the winning deck or something that is really something people care about somehow.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too.
Yeah, we need to find that thing. But otherwise, ship it. I love the idea. No notes.
Legal Custodian coming in here. Earthborne Rangers is a fantastic game to play solo, and it's beautiful how the game's mechanics work together to create a storytelling machine. Put that in the box, Mr. Navarro. Second print.
I like that it's all caps machine. TM.
Brent Sherrod saying 10% discount on the winning mat pre-order. I think the issue is we're trying to get the mats out before this series can happen. And I don't want to go through it. You don't want to refund everybody.
Yeah.
But what if you ordered that mat, you get something sent with it?
Ooh. I'm just going to love that one. You want to just complicate this randomly?
Professor Chaz, this is great. I never beat Battletoads either, but I did beat the Turbo Tunnel level, so I consider myself having beaten Battletoads. No joke, that Turbo Tunnel was not messing around.
I have ideas, but I don't want to commit to them.
Yeah, well, that's the best
on
kind
stream.
Of ideas.
Yeah.
That's the best kind of ideas. And then don't HDMI me, Jonathan. However, we've talked about FAB. We can't talk anymore about FAB.
Hey, can I talk about one thing? I'm sorry.
Is it FAB related?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me talk about Marvel Champions first. Sorry, Johnny, you got the logo up already.
That's all right.
Should we proceed with FAB?
No.
Okay, now.
Also,
Marvel
Brent.
Champions.
Wait, go ahead. Sorry.
I have something very specific to say about Marvel Champions. 2 things.
You're making that soapbox?
The first one is X-23 and Deadpool shipped last week, and you guys should all have them as subscribers. And that release date was on Friday.
And honestly, we are 4 years deep into Marvel Champions.
Yeah.
So if you're a subscriber at this point, especially if you've been the entire time, thank you.
You're one of our favorite people, truly.
Amazing. I'm happy to have you along, and your support is very meaningful.
Here's the other thing. We were thinking about, let's play a little Marvel Champions today. And you know what happened? Jonathan was looking at that this weekend and was like, I can't find those card images.
They used to routinely post those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
I brought my giant duffel bag of champions for this very reason.
Here's the deal. It makes sense. It's not a knock on anybody or anything. That Asmodee is a big company that it's going to have a very hard time finding a person whose role is to somehow get the assets for their cards online, like a lot of other games do. Like Flesh and Blood has their collection manager. You just click on the thing.
But they have like whole preview season, so like it gets all spoiled. We're leading right up to it's like a natural part of their process.
Yeah, Sorcery's got Curious About IO that shows all the cards. Also, when we can work with these beautiful, independent, smaller publishers like Sorcery or Earthborne, we can send an email and say, hey, can you get us the card assets? And Andrew's like, yeah, I'll get you those card assets, but it's through Adobe Cloud, so good luck finding them. You can't, you have to click. It's like you have to unlock
Why is Adobe so good and so bad all at once? How does it work?
Because they did something good early, and then they have tried to ruin it for the past 20 years. But nobody has done it.
We're not talking about
better.
magic.
No, but it's kind of similar. I mean, we
Hero
speak
becomes
from
a
a place
villain,
of absolute ignorance when it comes to magic, but no, you get the early lead, you get the early thing, and all the culture and all this stuff is built around your system, and then you just have so much leverage to be bad at.
Can we put this J.K. Rowling's quote on the box? I haven't been actually playing Marvel Champions recently, but it's so much peace of mind to just get every release via subscription and have a complete collection waiting for me.
Yeah, so I want to play Angel. There's a lot of Marvel Champions I want to play. And we're just going to have to figure out how to get a system in place that's going to allow for us to do that the way that we want to do it, which is showing the card images on the screen.
I have been playing an X-Men campaign personally about once every 8 to 12 weeks.
That's sweet.
With a 4-player group, and it's been great. But it's like...
Who are you playing with?
Rain, Eric, and Tim.
Cool.
And we're doing all the X-Men in the X-Men campaign. It's a whole vibe.
That's super fun.
Yeah.
Great job.
I wear my orange glasses.
So we would certainly like to... check out some Marvel Champions when we get the chance. We just haven't quite figured out how to get all those dots connected.
Yeah. Also, Chad, I did find my Cyclops asking the question. Also, Lloyd, love this comment. We played Crokinole with the family on Thanksgiving, and much fun and laughter was had. Thank you to you guys for helping me discover that game.
It's great, isn't it?
That makes me so happy.
Great, man.
That game is great, and I'm glad your family enjoyed it.
All right, you said you had one thing to cover on FAB. I've got Earthborne. We got a little bit of Sorcery news, and then we're diving into the Earthborne session.
I got this request a lot while I was there, and this is I'm curious to hear your reaction. So there's your favorite thing about card games, grading cards.
Yeah, it's a very high priority for me.
There's a company that grades cards called PCG.
Heard of them.
One of the owners of that's Matt Rogers, who's a FAB player.
Is it called Professional Card Grading?
I don't know what PCG stands for, but I think card grading is the CG.
That'd be a good one. Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
They've been talking for a while about something they were calling the FAB Slab.
Okay.
I'm not personally I like to use my cards, even like fancy prize cards.
Yeah.
But they were doing a thing there. It was the first weekend they were doing it at Worlds was the FAB Slab. They call it like Player Slab or something else. And you could drop stuff off on Wednesday and have it ready by Friday morning if you're playing in Worlds. And I have some of those that I got done.
It's a risky bet.
Well, yeah, sure, it was to a certain extent. But people have been asking to see what those look like.
All right, let's check.
So I just want to show those on screen real quick.
Check under your seat.
So
am I right in just did they?
Huh?
They just figured out how to use less plastic.
So the traditional grading that you would do.
Throw it down on the table there.
Yeah, the traditional grading that you would do would have like a big chunky thing up here.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
it has like the name and the score and a QR code and stuff.
Yeah,
those don't fit in a deck box.
Right.
Like these are all Fab Slabs that do fit in a deck box, and so they're just like a Pro Snap thing, except for the grading information's on the back.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were doing a thing where they actually had the World's logo on there, which
that's cool.
That's what got me over the edge. It's like that's kind of commemorative. That's cool and stuff, and a QR code with more details. But it's also sealed. So like weirdly with Fab, some of these cards are worth like a decent amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
And the Pro Snaps, one of my biggest concerns when I'm traveling is that this box, I'd say 80% of the time, I even have TSA pre-check. We get flagged. And then the TSA pre-check, the lovely lady, will open the box. She's got her gloved things on, and then she'll just be like...
Those are called hands.
Yeah. She'll just like grab these out, right? And it's like...
You start juggling them.
Oh, cool. And then it literally, one time I have this gold grasp thing, and it just like came open. And like the sleeve card just like drops on the TSA table. And I can't reach and touch it. Like she's got to be the one to touch it.
Yikes.
So that's always a nerve-wracking thing. But they have this thing now that you can do, which I thought was really cool. And Matt was great about it. They did a great job. They graded all my stuff and got it to me. So I just wanted to shout out
Can you disclose how much Matt paid you to say that just then?
He didn't, actually. He should have. Matt, if you're out there, you'd like to sponsor it. No, but I just thought it was cool because I was mostly interested in... I'm not planning on getting rid of these things. I've been using them. I open them out of their things, which you don't do if you're just planning to sell. But getting it graded before for the protection reasons wasn't really viable because it doesn't fit in a deck box. And it's like on the board too, it's just kind of like, I don't want all this stuff happening here. So having a very player focused offering for that, I thought was really cool because it's not a guaranteed. I think the collector people aren't interested in that at all. Mm-hmm. So it's like a really weird niche inside of the niche of people.
But why wouldn't you be? Because where are you storing your graded cards if not in like deck boxes or BCWs or whatever?
I don't know how they handle that, but I know they're not like putting them in a bag to take to a tournament.
Right.
So like you could have boxes that fit that kind of a thing in, but the deck boxes they make for actually going to a tournament aren't sized for slabs.
Well, I'm glad they figured that out. That seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah. So people knew that I had some, and I posted like a picture, but they were asking to see it on video. So now I can link to that video.
Okay.
And it's like, here, you can see
Maybe
it.
We'll pull this out as a clip or something.
And they're really cool. They're really nice. Like, I'm not going to do it with this, but apparently they did tests where like they would just like throw it, and like the card doesn't move and they don't break. Sorry, I almost...
That was really close.
And so it's really nice. It's really, they lock into each other like the Pro Snaps, but this doesn't open. Like to get this.
You don't want to just yeet that one into the back of the...
Not this one. I would, let me
Don't
see.
you put a hole in the studio, dude. We just finally got this thing done.
Live.
Let's not do it. Don't do anything.
I don't think I have anything worth doing.
I'll drop like a die on it if you want.
That's okay. We'll just let's just not take a risk. Cool.
All right, let's see. Earthborne, we did talk about this just a little bit earlier, but we do have intel on this shipment. We're aware of it. It's on the way. We got tracking where, again, that is not at all a guarantee in this here logistics-fueled industry that anything's going to show up on time or at all. But things are looking very good for Earthborne arriving this week to us. We'll immediately begin filling pre-orders, and then once the pre-orders have moved out of the system, we will flip everything to in-stock shipping now and proceed with business as usual. And we will likely have some amount of some items that are currently out of stock that will go back in stock at that time, because we'll get the final count. We'll get to see the actual numbers of things, not the numbers that people have said should be there, but the numbers that are actually there.
Literally there. That's like the deluxe tokens or the playmats and stuff. We might have some extras of those.
Might have some extras. I will try my best to let folks know beforehand on our Discord before they go into stock, but I cannot guarantee that will happen.
Yeah.
We're moving pretty quick.
J.K. Lawling's asking, are those cases waterproof? I don't know. I assume they are. Even Pro Snaps with the inner sleeves are like pretty waterproof.
Okay.
But it could come open, and that's a whole thing.
So you could go swimming with your cards.
Whoever was asking, I saw it earlier. It was PCG, and it's called the player slab, I think.
Premium card grading. I think it's premium card grading. What's up, Cindy? It's premium card grading, PCG.
Yeah.
And that's run by Fab folks. Matt Rogers is a Fab man. And then finally, Sorcery. Let's talk about Sorcery. Sorcery's doing great. It is in stock on our store right now. We've got the playmats, the precons, and the booster boxes available, shipping now.
And notably, when we first launched, you couldn't combine the playmat with the boxes, and we had certain quantities you couldn't order. We got past the initial expected spike in orders and stuff, and now all of that is manageable. So I think you can order it all together at this point.
You can order it all together, and it's all going to stay at MSRP no matter what the TCG player prices do. Okay? So don't worry about it.
Put the guarantee on the box.
Don't worry about it. But buy now. Because, there's stock limits. Obviously, we don't have an infinite amount. But, we aren't gonna pump that up because we can. Because we hate money, Zach. And then new Eris Curiosa Sorcery videos have gone up. Drafting with commentary, gameplay from the draft, and then Flame Caller versus Wave Shaper, a second tier version of the video that we already did.
Ooh, sick burn. Do you know if our draft finals have been posted yet from Gen Con? I know Hein had that footage. I don't know if is that series or is that different?
No, this is different. This is a much more like a chase produced series.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you're out there, Hein, and you make that video, let me know.
And they all look really good. They're doing a really good job.
I've been wanting to watch that back for some time.
Yeah. Yeah, because you smoked me. I made a devastating error in that game, I think I remember. It was young, though. I was young. Things were new, you know? All right, so Jonathan's going to come back and join us. Going to get on the tape here for a session of Earthborne Rangers. We're going to finish out day 3. And Zach, you're going to go do some work, I imagine.
That's right.
We'll wait on Jonathan to get back in here. As you can see, we are having such a good time with this game.
You just keep playing it.
I cannot recommend it enough. If ever there was a card game that Jonathan and I were meant to play together, this is it 100%. And shared it with my wife Shannon this weekend, and we made characters. Took us about an hour and a half. Super fun.
That's amazing.
And then we never got to play because we took an hour and a half to make characters.
And this is I know personally, but people watching may not know that her being willing to play is huge. Similarly, my wife
really into it.
Is willing to try it. And that is a statement in and of itself.
If you will it is no dream, man.
Yeah. All right, any last questions before I get out of here? I'm about to moonwalk my way out. It's next week. You said we're doing alphaclash.
Yep.
Yeah, excited.
Playing alphaclash. We'll be going wild into set 2. I'm just gonna be going wild into it. All right, John, you ready to do this thing?
Let's do it.
Actually, can you chat with John for just a second? I'll hit the bathroom before we get started.
I can.
We'll both be free and ready to go. Feel free to take my seat here for a while, John.
Got a couple of things to do. Zach, it's full of time.
All right, prepare for my soliloquy. Tapas. Dude, Barcelona was great. Weather was perfect. Food was great. People were awesome, warm. Fab community was great. I really enjoyed that Barcelona experience. If you go to Barcelona, make time to go to Sagrada. That was...
Is it completed?
No.
No, okay.
They are targeting 2030, but our tour guide thought that was a joke. She was very funny. But it is just unreal. It's like... The way I describe it is it's like you're inside and experiencing like peak human creation. It's hard to even explain.
That's not bad.
Chad, they did not say Barcelona. Big Hank, yeah, I would love to hang out and watch them play, but 1, I don't want spoilers. 2, we're in our end of year process, and I got a lot to do. I went to Barcelona and then got back last Tuesday, very early in the morning, and then spent the next couple of days recovering before Thanksgiving, and now I'm here, so I'm feeling a little behind.
Okay, let's see. I think I've got all the stuff I need.
7 novels. What deck am I looking to play, and why is it Pestilence? It's actually Death. Death is the one I'm most excited about, but also Conquest. I think Pestilence looks cool, but I assume that'll be something Steven's into. So I just like dodge those things because I just know.
Yeah,
he only likes certain things, and it's always once he's into it, it's just like, yeah, you can have that category. Yeah. I'll take the rest. Torres went to Barcelona for his honeymoon. Love the city. What was your favorite part about Barcelona? the people and the food and just the weather and the outdoor like cafe culture.
Oh yeah, was it pretty nice and warm out there?
It was 70s the whole time I was there.
Ooh,
there was one day where it was like 65 because of clouds.
Nothing worse than that.
No.
You just stroll around till you found a place that looked good, and then
that's awesome. And then you just sit down outside, and then they come and take care of you. It's amazing. You back?
Some small foods.
Do me a favor too. Could you give me some water and bring it back here?
Yeah.
I don't want to go all the way into this.
Yeah.
Ooh, elevator pitch for Earthborne Rangers. Oh,
on that note, I'm out of here. Great to see you all. I'll see you next week.
Let's see.
You're
I told my in-laws that play D&D, I talked to them about it because I'm going to bring it on Christmas and teach it to them. But it's basically like the most RPG you can get out of a board game. That being said, I don't know if that's true, but it sure feels like it. It probably takes the most amount of its inspiration from role-playing games, and then puts it into a open world, important gaming card based.
It's a long elevator ride.
Well, I know I can't do it. I told you I started this. So I started off by saying can't do it. Can't do it.
That's a 70-floor elevator.
What would you say?
I would say like it's an open world RPG in a card game. So
that's why he's the marketing guy.
It's about exploration and discovering storylines as you go, rather than being on a linear path of challenges. So yeah, you really feel like you're exploring a universe, a world, and you can go off in whatever direction you choose. You can pick up. This is one of the things about open world RPGs that's fun. You can pick up on the storyline when you want to, and you can just go off on your own when you don't. I also like this for you here, Arkham Horror, the card game, Pleasant Walk Edition. People have also called it like solar punk, is like kind of the hip word for this now, where it's like it's not dystopian. The future is people have figured out how to live, or at least figured out how to recover the earth, fix the earth, etc., from all of the pressure that we've been putting on it for thousands of years. And then now there's all these weird creatures walking around who were designed to like maintain a sustainable ecosystem. And you're out in the middle of it, kind of rediscovering what the old humans did to fix the problem. Yeah. And trying to keep things cool.
I was talking to Bryce about it. He's one of our employees here. And I said the moment that you and I realized that we could just let the animals take care of themselves was kind of a big deal. Like the world just worlds. You don't have to be involved with everything. You can just like let the cats eat the deer.
Let the cats eat the muckets.
Eat the muckets.
And let's take a look at what that would be. Thank you, Zach, so
much
let
me hit that button.
So here's where we are. We are at the day 3. This is kind of the end of the beginning of Earthborne Rangers. Days 1 to 3 are really designed to be kind of an introduction to the game. And so we are at the kind of nearing the end of our introduction. We didn't exactly take all of the cues from the game to follow the things that we were supposed to do, but that's kind of the point of Earthborne. We wandered about. Where did we end up? Well,
Spire. The bustling metropolis of Spire, actually. Even cooler. Yep, that's right here. Locator, that's very funny. That was that's my token.
Comes with a map, so that tells you a lot of what you need to know about the game. Jonathan and I have decided, we were over here at Kobo's Market, we've decided we're going to take the hiking route in this deluxe map called Tumbledown Trail. It's right here. So we wanted to get to Spire, and then we're going to make our way south to Tumbledown, unless we find things that divert our attention, which we might. One of the passing goals that we have is to find Tala again, who we found once, and find her a good home, which was a goal that we had, and we failed at. Now, apparently this was errata. There's a number of erratas that had been released.
That's right.
They released a clarification document, etc., which I have not read at all.
Yeah, they even posted the changelog. I believe Davy worked on that.
Oh, good. They got the changelog.
Thank you, whoever did that. If it wasn't Davy, then I'm sorry for stealing your thunder. But that was a great job. I remember they requested it in the Discord, and the guy was like, "Yeah, sure, I can do that."
I think. And is it on their secret digital site?
Yes, it is.
What is
the one that you can get to from their website?
Can you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to try.
Okay, I believe. Also worth noting that at Kobo's Market, I traded out an old piece of gear for a functional replica, which is just makes me happy. I've got this functional replica now, a loose leaf tea kit. Eventually I'll get a static sifter, you would think. Haven't found it yet. But if I have all those out, that's my 5 slots for my stuff I can carry. You can see the little 2 dots in the top there. 2 dots for functional replica. Static sifter is 1 dot, and that would be 5, and then I can just go bonkers. But I like that I got to haggle with Kobo at Kobo's Market to do that.
I'm at the website. The Living Valley, it was available on their Earthborne Games website. And you can go to Campaign Guide, 1D Missions, Errata. So I click on Errata here. I can go to Card Errata, Rulebook, and Campaign Guide Errata. And this will give us entries that have been errata. The vast majority of these erratas are just simple kind of words changed to make things more clear. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of, to me, it's the kind of thing where if you ever get in a point with the game where you're like, this doesn't quite make sense, or I don't quite understand this, that's when I would check the errata. Otherwise, I'm going to play it how it lies. Yep. That's kind of my philosophy.
Who's going to stop you, you know?
Who's going to stop us, man? So we're at the top of the turn.
We're at the top of the turn.
Which means we're going to draw our path cards.
Yes, but Oliver, we already drew our path cards.
No, we didn't, because whenever we arrive there, we draw one from the Spire.
Okay.
So now we're going to go to step 1 path card. Each trainer draws 1 path card. However, we are both at Spire, and it says when you would draw 1 path card, if you're here, you draw from the Spire deck instead of the standard path deck. So you're the lead ranger, I believe, in this one.
That's right.
So here is your
very cool card. Way to represent, Arcology Threshold.
Whoa.
Let's all read this together.
Let's read page 58.
Page 58. Spirit plus conflict. To brave the gloomy depths beneath the spire, move your token to this feature. If you fail, suffer 2 fatigue.
Whoa.
While your ranger token is on this card, prevent all fatigue you would suffer from the weather because you're underground. And if we both get on it by clearing it, we get to read a little story.
It is just like...
Which is what I want.
What I want more than anything.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was going to be in there. Thanks, Andrew.
Most everyone in the valley, and certainly everyone in Spire, is familiar with the arcology, but most of them think of the upper levels that have become the basements and power generation stations of Spire. You head past the wind turbines and the enclosed river docks down into a level below the Silverfin. Here the air is a bit damp, but you find yourself in a brightly lit chamber. Brightly lit chamber full of cabinets and pedestals. Artifacts are scattered throughout the space, each with a neat label identifying them. Most seem to be from Estians, some seem even older, from the decades before the guide led people to begin the generational projects. A mousy young woman with large glowing glasses scurries up, introducing herself as Krishtu Meeks. If you're looking for Solaro, he's deeper into the arcology tunnels. No. She points to a series of vaulted entrances leading off from the chamber. Each seems darker and more oppressive than the last. Krishtu sees her hesitation. Don't worry, she says. It should be safe. We haven't seen anything dangerous in the upper passages for months now.
So if we get off of the Spire,
we start drawing the baddies.
Do we have to get back on? We have to get back onto this, yeah, don't we? So we have to get back onto the Spire to keep spiring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but we could go from Spire to that directly. We don't have to come back and then go there.
Okay.
The Hardy Brew.
Ooh, there it is.
Yeah. It is a feature and a structure. Look at this. We just get to explore this stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
We just don't even know what this is. I'm going to read the entry, but we can use Spirit plus Heart, our greatest asset. Mm-hmm. Search the valley set for any one card and attach it face down to the location. After you travel, put the attached card into play.
Oh, wow.
We can go find anybody we need at Tala at the Hardy Brew.
Now that's cool. See, this is the thing that I'm really liking about Earthborne is that I'm gaining knowledge about the world itself. So it's like I know that if we are injured, we need to get to a lakeside and then go find some kelpweed and we can use it to heal our injuries.
That's right.
If we're looking for someone particularly, we have to come to Spire if our luck just runs out, and we can go to the Hardy Brew and we can go and find them at the Hardy Brew, or at least find information about their whereabouts.
And we'll just remember.
And that's just a cool thing to do. If you want to go trade, you can either find Ren Kobo on the thing or go to Kobo's Market and trade.
Beautiful.
It's awesome.
The two-story inn and tavern is built as a hollow square with rooms opening up onto an open courtyard. Here you see guests sitting in wooden chairs with plates of food and flagons of spirits, most clustered around a flickering bonfire of multicolored flames. As you move closer, you realize that the fire is actually a cunningly crafted sculpture of shards of amber, crimson, and bright ochre kinetic glass. It is lit from beneath, and the sparkling reflections dance across the guests' faces, even as they somehow bathe them in a soothing, comforting heat. You hear the murmur of a dozen different conversations as you walk through the tavern. Calypso once told you that news spreads faster in places like a Hardy Brew than anywhere else in the valley. You imagine if you needed to find someone's location, asking around here would be a good way to start.
Mm-hmm. To share stories with the locals to find someone's location. That's so cool.
Okay, let's think about what we've got on the table here. Now,
All right, we still have these Lutronals that are problems.
Lutronals are problems.
They're still problems.
This one's going to be essentially exhausted forever.
No, I only have one more token left on it.
So forever is kind of...
So forever is until next turn, yeah. Oh, that's not it. Where it is. There it is, right there.
I've got the reverb bucket that I can use Walk With Me on, so I could put progress on a being.
Okay.
Which to me says I could put a bunch of progress on the Hardy Brew, and then we could clear out like Talon Lang or the Elder.
I see.
Orlin, if we wanted to see what was behind those doors. As far as that spirit test on the Hardy Brew, I mean,
I'd rather use a spirit test for the arcology, to be honest with you.
You want to get into the arcology?
I can get in the arcology without failing, no problem.
So you're going to the arcology?
Well, I mean, that's definitely an idea. But I have a problem with the Van's here. Stream can start.
Yeah, what's up, Van? Guess we'll start it up.
I have a problem with these Lutronal.
Well, he's exhausted, so it's not now you have a problem, you know?
No, but it'll be next turn.
Yeah, that'd have been hardly a problem.
I mean, I guess, so I use one more length, so he'd be exhausted next turn too.
You got him for a while.
And I can avoid him forever.
We really need to think about what we're doing. So, like, we came to Spire just to kind of see what's going on. I think we have a pretty good, and we can travel almost whenever we want. It's a 6
That's
of
right.
8.
Yeah.
So we need to get a little bit more on the location, and then we can travel wherever we want to go.
So you can use your reverb locket and Walk With Me to get us all done on that.
We can clear a being.
Probably. Oh, it's okay, yeah. So and we can get all the rest of the stuff on Spire, then clear a being.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. All in the same motion. So if we look at Talon Lang, we have a distract test, exhausted being for every 2 effort. So we have a spirit distract that we could like exhaust these Lutronals.
But it's still spirit.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not
a good test for us. We could clear Talon and just see what Talon has to say.
I'm not against that.
Because sculptors are pretty cool.
I think that's probably the most intriguing thing.
We could talk to the Elder.
Elder, she's kind of crabby.
It's kind of weird.
Well, she was just kind of brusque with us.
So you don't want to like connect with her?
No, I don't.
Whatever happened to redemption?
Well, we can redeem her later. I'm going to talk to the dude that's doing the glass.
The last thing you want to do is talk to the elders. Usually a bad idea.
Bad time.
Very bad idea. Spirit share test. You don't have any interest? You really want to go to the threshold?
All right, but hold on, wait. I also have a lot of. I can do a lot of weird stuff with the muckets too. Let's not forget the muckets.
Yeah, you really can. And if I'm going to get on that threshold, I'm going to have to make that brave test because we don't clear it until both of us are on.
I can get you on. I can get on there, and then that's one less.
Yeah, and it's a 3. I'm gonna have to find a conflict. I've got one conflict.
Well, I can also give you this loose leaf tea kit and the functional replica to give you 2 more.
Oh, and it's
spirits.
a feature, so I got my field journal as well.
Boom. See, look at that.
So I'm actually boss at these.
Great.
So I think the question is, should we try to be cool and get the Lutronal out of here and just be done with it, or should we just live with it?
Yeah, it's only if you have. When's it get bad?
When they come out, basically.
Yeah.
They're not going to come out again.
If there are other acting lock Lutronals, but they're not going to come out again. So he's only one, so he's just not going to do anything.
And there's no awareness test on the board, so I could just sit him down.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I think that's fine.
So I think that's going to be my first test, is going to be put the Lutronal to bed.
Okay.
And then we have free reign of the board to explore whatever we want.
Yep.
And I do have some ideas about what that should be.
Yeah. Are we still in is arcology where we're going next? Or not?
I think our 2 kind of things that I'm looking at is clearing Talon.
Okay.
And then getting to the threshold.
Okay.
So that's going to take 2 turns total because I'm going to need a spirit icon for Walk With Me, and I'm going to need another spirit unless you give me one to do that test.
Oh, I'll definitely give you. I can give you 2.
I can get you a spirit.
I can get you a spirit.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So
also, if you just wanted to mess with the muckets to get things off the board.
I'm gonna mess with the muckets a little bit.
Mess with the muckets.
Yeah, I'm gonna mess with the muckets.
I just don't like seeing all this stuff.
I get you, man. I understand. Yeah.
It's too much stuff on the board.
Okay.
You want to pry it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I get to start off here, don't I?
You can pry it. You can see some fatigue. I actually kind of need to do that too.
Yeah. I wish I had more than one fit, but that's okay.
Oh, right. You're not a good pry man.
Not great on prying. I can use my 2 focus to do the kelpweed. So this is kind of my crazy. Have I told you my crazy idea? I've been thinking about this all week. I'm going to use the kelpweed to wrap it around the muckets to heal the damage.
Oh, right.
Then I can keep prying the muckets.
Right.
Forever.
Right. Yeah. Add 1 and discard 2 from a being. Is a mucket a being? It is.
It is.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you could kelpweed the muckets. You set up a little
kelpweed
station.
the muckets. Yeah, kelpweed the muckets, and then I get a token off the kelpweed. Then I have to pry the muckets.
But you can't even pry the muckets to begin with.
I'm too weak to pry the muckets.
Yeah. And we don't need to heal injuries here, do we?
No. But I would like to do something like that because I would like another token on Loose Leaf Tea Kit. And I would like to heal some fatigue.
I do also like that you can just set up a little Etsy shop here of just muckets and kelpweed.
And then you could, you've got, you're going to use your fit to do the...
I could do a little prying.
You could do the prying
It's going to give me 2 cards.
That's true.
I like that.
See, there you go.
I like that trade. I might pry him.
Okay. Why don't you let me heal him first, and then you can pry.
But I want to pry him off the board, man. I hate these muckets being here. I don't want all this stuff in front of me.
Why don't you look? I will heal him. You'll pry him. I'll pry him. The end.
Okay.
It'll all work out. We'll draw all the right cards.
If you think it's gonna work out, then go for it.
All right. I'm gonna use my 2 focus.
Work it out. Work it out.
So I just need to get not a -2, -1.
That's not a good test at all. You're doing that test?
Well, I thought about it.
You gonna put a card into it or something?
I wish I had a card to put into it, but I don't.
Ooh, it is a feature. I can give you a +1 from the field journal.
You have to exhaust it for that, or just give it to me?
When a ranger interacts with a feature, commit 1 effort.
All right, so we're at 3 effort to its 2 kelpweed.
Nice. See, I make notes over all the weird plants that you're harvesting.
So I just have to pull this, and it just has to be okay.
Not a -2 focus.
Not a -2 focus. -1 focus.
We did it.
Wow, that was pretty clutch.
That was good.
Okay, so now
resolve the test.
I'm thinking a lot about this because we're going to be doing that video soon. So the first thing we do is resolve the test.
Yeah.
So this is what happens. Wrap the pungent leaves around a wound to add 1 to this feature and heal either an injury from a ranger or discard 2 from a being. I'm going to wrap it around these poor muckets. And this is going to go to 2.
Kelpweed goes away because it's got a 2 threshold.
And it goes away. And then this says response. After you add 1 or more damage to a flora, you may add 1 herb to this gear.
Okay, love it.
Okay, great. So far, so good.
And then we resolve the weather.
Yep, and then now we go to the resolution phase. This weather says I suffer 1 fatigue.
Yeah, oops.
Nah, no problem.
Not a big deal.
Not a big deal. And then going through here, you look at missions. We don't have any missions down here. And then this is exhausted. Lutrinol is exhausted, so he doesn't count. Elder Morlin is not triggered by anything. Going down, and it's all done.
Sweet.
It's really just about the test. I was reading the manual, and they even put the test in its own section, and then went on to the rest of the game.
The test is everything.
Which I think makes a lot of sense.
The test is everything, man.
Okay.
Now I think I'm gonna exhaust the Lutrinols.
Okay.
And you pry muckets.
And then I pry muckets, and you pry muckets.
And then we're kind of free.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to murder that Lutrinol, man.
I know they're problematic.
I just really want to do it. I got this hiking staff that I could hit it with, but it would take too long.
Because you got to put it into play and then use it and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're right. The Lutrinol is not going to bother us. That's the thing. It's just out existing. We don't need to bother it.
There's not even a reason. There's not even a reason. Active predator other than there isn't. If there's any or other active roaming Lutrinols, there's not. So
it's not going to do anything.
No, it's not going to do anything. I'm not even going to waste my time with it. I'm going to muck it.
Muck it. Just 1 for the mucket, huh? 1 for the mucket, 2 for the show?
It's funny. That is funny. Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, fine. Double pry.
Okay.
Give it the pry bar. Now, the other thing I could do, though, is just risk it on the 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to hurt you. Worst thing that happens is you get a fatigue from the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe the Lutronal eats the muckets. I don't know. I haven't checked.
Hold on. Wait, do we have a focus test on the board? We don't.
Nope.
Ergo, I'm going to do this differently. I'm going to use my Undaunted Seeker ability.
Okay.
Avoid the Lutronal.
Okay.
Do a focus test. 3 focus to locate. I'm going to add a cloud to this card and soothe 1 fatigue.
Oh,
and,
nice.
Then during refresh, 3 or more clouds. Oh, it's gonna flip anyway, so that doesn't really matter. I could soothe 1 fatigue. I'm not going to do that. No,
okay.
I'm not going to do that.
3 focus.
I'd get it early, but it's going to have to wait till refresh. Okay, so that's not a good test either. I don't want to drain all of my fitness.
Well, I can give you 2 of anything.
But we need that for the spirit.
I know, yeah.
I'm going to risk a pry.
Okay, risk a pry on the muckets. 1 mucket.
Boom!
That'll do it. Pry them muckets.
Go. Pry. All right, let's resolve the test. I'm going to discard my energy. I'm going to add 1 damage to that being. I'll get it here. I got the 1 there. Soothe 2 fatigue.
Boom.
Oh, such a good card. Oh, so many good cards. This just opened up our Walk With Me test in a big way. Look at those bad boys.
Boom. We love it.
Woo.
That Strider card is bonkers.
It's so good, right?
So good.
Okay, we resolved the test, and now we're going to go to the crest. Nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. If there are other active romping Lutronals, there are not. If there is an active predator, there is.
Uh-oh.
Exhaust it.
All right. Hey, look at that.
Add 1 to this being equal to that predator. So I'm going to do 1 because there's 1 on the Lutronal. So Talon Ling takes a little collateral damage.
Ultimately, it's fine.
What's the big deal?
Yeah, ultimately, no big deal. Great. And Lutronal exhausted, which is what we want to do.
Lutronal is exhausted.
Boom.
Done.
All from one pry of the mucket. Okay.
It's all just 1 mucket pry.
All right, so this goes in your stack.
Yeah, thank you.
And you can do any exhaust things that you want or don't want to, and then pass back to me.
Yeah.
All right, then I'm going to pry those muckets.
Yeah, mucket. But are you going to have the success I had?
Probably not.
We've seen 2 zeros so far, so odds are low.
Didn't pry.
No pry.
So no pry on the muckets, that's fine.
But you do take some fatigue, so that's good.
Yep, got the sun. I'm going to put it in there for my fatigue stack. That's no big deal. We love it.
What does this functional replica do?
Functional replica is basically I can copy anything on the board. It's very good. Choose a ranger's equipped gear, resolve the chosen gear's effect as if you used a token from it and or exhausted it.
Hold on a second then. So you could use my multi-tool to spin an energy, turn it into another fit.
Yes.
Is there any one that you would want? Like, that awareness is a waste of time.
Well, yes, that's true.
Convert awareness to fitness, do a 2 versus a 1?
I could, but then that uses a charge.
Yeah, you're a hoarder.
I mean,
you're hoarding the charges.
But if I do the loose leaf T kit, I could just choose a ranger that ranger gains 1 energy of any type. So it's the same of yours, but it's better.
Okay. All right.
Anyhow, didn't pry the muckets. That's
so you're
fine.
going to keep at the muckets?
Well, I don't have any more fit.
I mean, I can give him a pry.
Give him a pry. Yeah, pry on, man. I don't mind another pry. Someone's got to pry him.
I just want to get him off the table. But you need to heal.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe next turn.
Yeah, it'd be next turn.
You can get him. If you get a little triangle.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's get Talon Lang sorted out here. We have an option here. We have a real... I think I'm going to do it.
Yeah, go for it.
I think I'm going to do this. Okay, I'm going to pay 3 focus for a hidden trail here.
Okay.
It's a feature in a trail, and it's very, very cool. So we've got to spend 6 progress here.
Okay.
And then it attaches to the location.
Oh, and then we can boogie.
We can go to...
Yeah, I remember that one.
Go to location. So if we get to Talon, it's like, you need to go to this place. Or if that arcology reveals something, we can get there quickly. So that's my test there.
Okay. That's all you're doing is just putting that down.
Yeah.
So, what do we have here? I guess I'm just going to get on that arcology.
You're about to draw. We will draw
time?
soon, but it might be fine to not draw from the Spire.
Oh, I see, because we're about to rest. Well, but we can both get on the arcology this turn.
You could also, like, just do the Hardy Brew test with 2 Spirit here. Share Swords with the locals. Search for any 1 card.
That's not bad with this 2 Spirit. That's pretty easy.
Yeah, it's like you can get in there.
Okay, then. Well, that's interesting. Very interesting. I
start trying to clear Lutrons. You could put try to connect with Elder Mora Orland. Maybe put 2 or 3 progress there, and then maybe we clear both of them. Come around next turn and clear her too.
I might try to pry open those muckets again.
Dude, you always have mucket fever.
Well, if I get it, then I'll have 2 of these, and I could get my sifter in there. And if I have my sifter, then we're off to the races.
Are you gonna play your sifter?
I don't have it. I'm looking for it all game.
Understood. Understood.
There's 1 more sifter left in my deck. I know that for sure. So it has to be in one of these piles.
You know what? Now hold on a second.
Can you see some of my fatigue? Hey, okay. Joe, enjoy that commute, man. I love it.
Okay, hold on a second. Well,
I could also. That's interesting.
Huh. Okay, well then maybe here's what I'll do. Why don't we do it like this? This is an interesting thing to look at.
Okay.
You've got all that awareness you're not going to use, right?
Right. I can use it for good purposes for other things, but don't plan on using it unless we get into the arcology today.
Okay, so I'm gonna exhaust to take another turn, which you can do in this game.
That's right.
Take 2 turns in a row. And then I'll pay 1, see if you like this play, to play a pocketed belt pouch.
Okay.
So it makes all of these 1 instead of 2.
Oh wow, that's
equips.
Amazing.
But then it gives you access with your functional replica. Search your ranger deck for a gear and add it to your hand with an awareness test.
Is that true? Choose a ranger equipped gear, resolve the chosen gear's effect as if you had used a token or exhausted it. So only use a token or exhaust ability. That's a very cool idea.
Use a token, 1 pocket.
Oh, no way.
It's got 3 pockets.
Cool.
Yeah, dude.
Wowie.
You have your own pouch.
Now, we have to make the bet that the set acceptor's in these last 4 cards and not in this giant pile of fatigue.
That's your bet to make. So I cannot do this if you don't think it's in there. I don't think I can soothe.
You know what? I think it's worth trying. It's worth trying.
Okay. Give it a shot.
Yeah. And that's just awareness?
Yeah, just awareness straight up.
I don't need to use my awareness for anything. So I'm just going to use it for that.
Yeah.
So we take 1 off the functional replica. Down to 1.
Does it exhaust to do that? Yeah, it does.
Whoop. Use all my 3 awareness for this test on pocketed belt pouch.
Yeah, got it.
Boom. And then?
Nice.
Easy. +1.
Okay. Search your deck.
Search my deck.
For a gear.
At least I get to see what's in it. Oh my gosh. It is. It was the last card in my deck.
Boom.
Boom. That's great. Okay. There we go there.
Nailed it.
And then I'll shuffle these 3 cards up. Shuffle, 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 shuffle.
Only 3 left.
Only 3 left.
We better not get wrecked out of this day.
Yeah, I know, right?
We have to camp.
We have to camp. Okay. So then 2.
It's mine. No, it's mine.
No, it's still yours.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Because I did the thing.
You did the thing. Okay. Let's do the dang thing. Exhaust. Push that here. 7. Push that. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna leverage. We're gonna use our exhaust ability, multi-tool. We're gonna trade out an awareness for a fitness.
Okay.
Then we're going to traverse the hidden trail with 2 fitness tokens.
Okay.
Plus Strider. 5. Plus bold to make it 7.
Goodness gracious.
Then I'm going to do field journal because it's a feature to go to 8 effort. Because I want to make sure I get 6 on that bad boy. Roll to 0.
Nice.
So we're going to put 8 tokens here.
Goodness gracious.
You can use this chest hex dice too over there.
Okay.
If you want to.
6, 7, 8.
All right, so we'll just show it, So we'll put 8 on here. That will immediately clear it. And it'll attach to this location. So that means we'll move twice once we move out of Spire.
And this location is cleared?
What's that?
That location, we don't have to get the rest of this.
We don't have to get 2 right here.
We do still have to get 2.
Yeah, so when we do successfully travel, we can go 2.
Got it.
Then I've got some responses. So I'll put 8 progress with Walk With Me from the reverb locket. I'll use an echo here.
Just so good.
To put 8 here, which will clear Talon Ling, our sculptor, which means we will read entry number 61.
Boom.
In the book.
Doing it.
Let's see what Talon says. Now, he might just get us to, to buy a sculpture or something, and it's like, all right. Okay, go to, let's see, clear progress to ask him about a sculpture. If you are at Stoneweaver Bridge.
Nope.
We're not. If a bunch of other things. Otherwise, go to 61.6.
Okay.
As you ask a few questions about Talon's work, he gradually pays less and less attention to his current work until he's set down his tools and is engaged in a lively discussion with you. I've actually been asked by the elders at Spire to install a work on Stoneweaver Bridge, something to commemorate its construction, Anyway, I've created the design, but now I have to haul nearly 100 kilos of kinetic glass and materials there. He looks faintly abashed. I may have gotten carried away. Suddenly he brightens. Hey, you travel all over the valley, right? Could you help me take the sculpture to Stoneweaver Bridge? I bet it would be really easy if we had a boat. Maybe one of the ones Lynn Mira makes out in Branch.
Oh, goodness.
But we could just carry the materials there, too. We could agree to help, remove all progress, and attach the Helping Hand mission to Talon.
And that means that he sticks around even if we camp.
That's right.
That's important. Can you bring that map out? Oh, I'll get it.
Or we could discard Talon and everybody who's 2 fatigue.
Ooh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. But,
what are we here to do if not help? All
right, so
we're not even on a mission, right?
No, we're not even on a mission. We're just hanging out. So we're at Spire, and we need to go to Stoneweaver Bridge.
Oh, hey.
1, 2.
We're right there.
Path.
Hidden path. Boom.
Path.
We don't even need the boat.
No, don't need the boat.
We just hidden path
it. Yeah, man.
Let's freaking do it.
Dude, that's some Strider stuff
do
right
it.
there. This guy knows the woods. He doesn't need a boat. He's got the woods.
That's such good news.
It's awesome.
I choose A.
Let's help Talon. That's so cool.
And let's get out of here before you somehow get Luternal out of the game.
Do you not want to go down to the archaeology?
Dude, I gotta tell
There's
you,
artifacts down there, man.
I gotta tell you, man. You're gonna get fatigued out, and we're all gonna be so sad. You'll need to draw a few more suns.
Well, the sun's going away.
Helping Hand has to be done by the end of the day, which means we
gotta go.
We have to get 2 on this, and we got to boogie.
Okay. Good.
But then we immediately enter the location where Helping Hand, I believe, resolves.
Yeah. Great.
Let me get the mission out. Do we have mission? Yeah, there were missions. Let me get my giant stack of cards. Andrew Navarro's preferred.
By the creator himself. Said, please put your things in giant stacks. It's the best and most efficient way.
The attached being gains persistent.
Helping Hand mission has to be done. How do we know that has to be done by the end of the day? Just because?
Gains persistent. And you do not add this to the campaign track. If you don't help before the end of the day, the opportunity is lost.
There you go. Okay.
Man, why do they keep doing that? We keep trying to end the game, and then they keep making us play it more.
I think that's the trick. I think that's where what Earthborne's doing.
Okay.
All right. Well,
all of those things are done.
Okay.
I am completely out of energy.
All right.
But I have a field journal if you're interacting with a feature.
Okay.
That I can give you +1 on. The muckets are not a feature.
Still not a feature. All right. So I just need to not get fatigued, but we're not going to have the sun. There's nothing that's going to fatigue us.
As long as you don't do a test. And then it's going to flip to a perfect day. You're right.
Yeah.
Next turn.
Yeah.
So that'll be helpful.
Yeah. I can see the clouds gathering.
Even that 1 Luternal, that's 1 fatigue on you. If you draw, as long as we stay at Spire, we'll be fine.
Yes. And so I think this Carbon Forge here. So the Carbon Forge cable says, let's look at it together. Let's see if we can read the rules in our favor.
I'd love that.
Attached to a predator. Use 1 length. When the attached predator would ready, it remains exhausted. I still have 1 length left. So if it tries to do it, I can get it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. And as long as you stay in Spire and don't move here, then you'll draw from this deck and not potentially Lutrinol Central. Although, are they all gone?
I think they might be all gone.
There's 2 in the discard and the Holt.
Which is good, but who knows how many Lutrinol are in there?
4 out.
Too many, I'll tell you that.
4 total we've seen.
Okay.
All right, and then I need to resolve the crest.
Yeah.
There's not an active predator.
Nope. There you go.
Nothing to worry about.
Okay. All right.
Great stuff.
And so all of the damage went away from him because he got the helping hand thing? Or do we still need to worry about that?
No, there is 1 damage on him still, yeah.
Okay, that's problematic. But not too problematic.
He's got T. He can take 2 more.
Okay, yeah, that'd be fine. Great.
And then I think we have to get him to Stoneweaver. And then I think we have to clear him 1 more time.
Okay, I think so too.
To accomplish helping hand.
Yeah, which we can totally do with my 3 cards that are left in my.
You just got to play conservative here, man.
I'm not gonna do nothing.
No tests until we get perfect day. You gonna play that Sifter?
I'm gonna play that Sifter.
Yeah, you
For 2, Sifter. My kit is now complete. Now, if I just get on those muckets, I can get another charge.
So how do you? Oh, and then the loose leaf gives you another.
Yeah.
So, that's really interesting.
So I could get a fit from loose leaf and take a test, but I'm not going to do that because that's the whole thing we talked about.
Perfect day.
And then that's what I'm going to do. And you're resting?
I'm resting, yeah.
And I have to exchange an energy to do that, which I could. Is there a reason? Should I put 1 more on any of your stuff? Or we're so close to ending the day that I could do this anytime.
I would put it on the Sifter, right?
Yeah, I'd have to take 1 from loose leaf T-Kit, which is fine. I'm going to do that.
Yes.
Take 1 from loose leaf T-Kit. Do that.
You can soothe.
Do I know?
Can't you put it here?
Oh, no. This is loose leaf T. Oh, I could do that.
Can the Tinker do that?
Yeah,
Spend 1 energy.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's not this is not tech. But this is tech.
Got it.
And this allows me to use this because this is gear. It's a crazy cascading style sheet of fun here. So what I'm going to do is using loose leaf T-Kit to give myself an energy, using my exceptional Tinker ability to take that energy and change it into a charge for my functional replica.
Got it.
Unless you need a charge over there.
I don't think so. I mean, the only thing we would want to do is there's no features. This can be used pretty much indefinitely. So banking charges here, if we're doing a lot of features, we can keep using this. But I don't know that there's any features that matter. Now, we could get totally bamboozled by this Spire deck.
Yeah, there could be something
There could be an obstacle, a catastrophe. Oh, yeah. Who knows what it is? We don't have anything yet. But
okay.
So let's just...
But it's better than the Lutrinol, I'll tell you that. And then you're resting, I'm resting.
All right, we're all resting. So let's refill our pool. We're not traveling because we haven't taken that to its conclusion. Refresh. Ready all cards. Each ranger regains all energy and draws a card, and that puts you at
2
near dead
days left. Oh, this is so good though. That's exactly what you want to happen. Yeah, this is looking good.
We refresh, so we add a cloud. If there are 3, we flip it over. Perfect day. 3 clouds. Discard 1 cloud from this card. If there are no clouds remaining, flip it. On refresh. So now we're cool. That's all good. Everything ready did all of that. Then we go back up to the path cards. This is going to be yours.
Okay. Dace, Ambitious Shaper.
Oh, so cool.
Let's see what Dace is about.
This is the first Shaper we've seen.
Yep.
The Wizards of the Format.
Ooh. Whoa. Okay. Dace is Ambitious Shaper. Friendly. She's got a test on her.
That was a genuine...
Well, look what it says. Awake awareness plus this one that I don't remember. Ride the wind.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was my reaction. Ride the wind to take another test after this one. When you perform that test, dodge all path cards. If you fail either test, suffer 1 injury.
Wow.
That's very cool.
It's wizard stuff.
Very cool. I love these Roman wizards.
And I've got... Oh, let's read her entry first. 59.
That's cool.
You want to play a Shaper next, right?
Well, I mean, I love this. I love this guy. The guy I'm playing right now. Love it. So up my alley.
Remove. No.
I was actually thinking about doing a High Spirit Conciliator next. Just go the exact opposite direction.
Yeah, Shannon went High Spirit Explorer, which is very cool.
Nice.
As you move along the path, you see a woman in the signature resplendent attire of a Shaper running along the trail, skipping with her arms outstretched. Every few steps, she leaps as high into the air as she can. You call out to her, and she almost falls on her face. She straightens up, face flushed with embarrassment. What is it? You ask her what she's doing, and she glares at you. I'm trying not to fall on my face. Isn't it obvious? Clear days with progress to find out what she's really doing.
Oh, now, come on.
And then the Carbon Forge.
Oh, I bet you can do cool stuff in that Carbon Forge.
You
oh,
know
no.
You can make, like, you can probably get a trowel in that bad boy.
No. Oh, no.
Let's actually just move this up.
Oh, my goodness.
And it's, thank goodness, a focus test. Fabricate a new item to return a gear from your hand or discard to your collection. Choose a starting gear from your collection that you meet the requirement for and put it into play. So you can change out gear at the
Forge.
Carbon
Good.
Forge. Beautiful. 56. Let's read about it.
And the thing I love about the Carbon Forge, I think it's pretty much the same thing as Kobo's Market, but it requires focus instead of spirit, which is
because you got a forge, man.
Forge. We're not talking to people anymore.
Even outside the compound, you hear the muted roar of the Carbon Forge and smell the sharp tang of ozone. Once beyond the wall, you can see the squat, bulbous shape of the forge itself, a gray kiln larger than 3 wagons. As you watch a trio of sweating artificers haul a series of heavy curved beams out of the forge's mouth, frames for a roof. Another rushes forward to shovel graphite shards into a small hatch on the side. Blue sparks flicker within, and your hair stands on end as the forge begins to reform the graphite into nano-assembled carbon items.
Pretty cool.
Okay, so our plan is good.
Yep. So here's what I'm doing. I am just gonna do that. Okay. Watch what I do.
Watch me work.
Watch me work. All right, so we're gonna take a common test here.
Oh, and this thing is down, right? You use a charge off your cable.
So that's down. So can I avoid this being and to tap him?
With awareness?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
And then that's no problem, isn't it?
But I've also got one free test.
Okay, so you're not so concerned about that. But we don't want an active predator because of that. So we're going to avoid it.
Not ideal. I mean, yeah, if you can.
Yeah, I can. I mean, I got 3 awareness here.
I'll also do it on my turn, too, because I've got a bunch of awareness that I can't do anything with.
Okay.
So I just do 2 to a 1.
Well,
that's right, Adam, an AI version of me. We've built the ultimate helper.
Yeah, we'll do 3 here against this Lutrinol. Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
And
truly.
then I realized last night that I'm going to beat it no matter what with just that 3. Okay, cool. So here we go.
Clean, yeah.
Whoop. That's a 0.
That's a 0.
So that's a big winner. The Lutrinol is avoided.
Bing.
That's down. This will probably goes away, huh?
Nope.
Oh, I can keep putting stuff on it if I could. That goes down, and then we resolve. That's the end of that. So then we resolve this. If it was a test, it wasn't. Nothing, 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 nothing.
Nothing, nothing, nothing.
Nothing, nothing, nothing. And that, I do believe, I think, I don't need to do that yet, so I'm not going to do it yet. Done.
You can whenever. And your exceptional tinker is standing up.
Oh, yeah, exceptional tinker. Yeah, and you know what? I will do that. I'm going to move this down to 1 to act like it's a static sifter and soothe you fatigue. Great. That's what I needed.
Oh, that's sweet. So you can just use the sifter with your functional replica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm real good at machines.
Hey, you got it. You're doing it.
I was also thinking, I've been thinking about this a lot, come to find out, about not having a static sifter, even though it's in my kit, right? Like in the story, I should have it in my backpack. And at least for my character, it would be more like, I can't get it to work. Like I just can't get this stack. It was like messing up today, something about, the weather or something. Finally get it at this very end.
Now, okay, let's think about this. Let's think about this moment for a second. So we're going to travel once we get done with our quest here.
That's right.
And then we're going to refresh, which is going to have us both draw a card, leaving 1 card in your deck.
That's right.
So we're going to arrive at our destination, 1 card in deck, and start drawing path cards.
That's right.
Now, what path do we go on for that? Are we going to hit these stupid Lutrinols again? What's that valley map? Hit that valley map.
Oh. See, I didn't realize this.
What's that?
Locator's saying, I don't think it matters this time, but icons in front of Steven would also activate since you did that common test on a card in front of him.
That's so true.
I did not know that, and I will remember that.
That's a hard one to remember. That basically, once you come into my zone, these are now in play, which makes it the environment that you're interacting with.
I see. Got it. Thank you, Locator.
And it wouldn't matter. There's no active predator, but it is good to know. So what's our path? Can you look at the valley map and see the pathway we're taking?
We are, so like what we're going to be in?
Yeah, what's our biome?
We are going to be going through, unfortunately, the mountain. No, not the mountains. This thing. I don't even know what that thing is.
Oh, that doesn't look good.
That looks problematic. Let's see if I can find it.
That doesn't look good.
It says it's a ravine. Taking the ravine.
I got a feeling that there's features in there that just immediately fatigue you.
Because it's a ravine?
But that wouldn't end the game. You could take 2 fatigue after we travel.
Yeah.
Ugh.
We can do it.
Okay.
We can do it.
Okay.
But we basically have to get two progress on Spire. Is that what we're looking at right now?
Yeah, I'm going to do that right now.
Great.
Okay. Let's do that right now.
Okay.
It's a location, it's a trail. Got it. Love it. Now, we could potentially roll a walk with me over to the Elder there on 6. But I'm going to save.
Yeah, save it for once we get there.
You think Stoneweaver Bridge is going to be a trail card? Because, like, Spire is a trail.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That way I can use Strider on it?
Yeah. I think so. I think. And there's a chance. I haven't. Let's see if I've played trail markers yet. Because if not, they're probably in my fatigue stack.
Yeah, I've probably got
I've only got 1 trail marker, so they're probably in my fatigue stack.
I've got both of mine used, too.
Okay, so
I'm not going to waste Strider on this. Because I've just got 2. Now, I think I will go ahead and use the multi-tool.
Okay.
And I will shift an awareness to a fit. So I'll go to a 3 fit here.
Do you need any more?
I don't think so. It's a 3. It basically is a 3 test, and as long as I don't get a -2, we're gonna get enough on there to make it work.
Do you want one more? It won't hurt me. I mean, I'm gonna hit those muckets before we leave. This just assures it.
Yeah, sure. Let's just do it. All right, we'll do 4 fit on the test.
Drink a little tea.
Drink a little tea. Think about it. And we get our plus
big +1.
So that's a 5, man. You know, you could walk with me and just.
I'm not against it.
And then you could connect with the Elder and
I'll reload your walk with me at the end. And there's no reason.
Dace?
Oh yeah, Dace. Absolutely Dace.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, so let's resolve the test. We're gonna put 5 on here, so I'm just gonna take this to 8.
Yeah.
Because it's enough. Or what is 6? 5 would be a 5. Got it. Genius. Okay. So we've resolved the traverse test, then responses. I'll use 1 on the reverb bucket, spend 1 spirit, put 5 progress on Jace here.
That's not enough.
Not enough. We need 1, but you got a spirit to connect.
Oh, yeah,
just
I can
old-fashioned
connect. Just old-fashioned
spirit
connect.
plus heart to add progress.
Okay, I can actually do pretty well on that.
And that is going to be it. We can now travel. So it'll come back to you, and then I need to resolve the weather icon, which is a crest. And there's nothing here. There's no active predators, luckily.
That's right.
And then it's a reshuffle on the challenge icons.
Great.
And so now basically, I think my next move is I'm going to rest.
Okay. I'm gonna hit the muckets because I gotta hit the muckets.
So you need to hit the muckets.
And then finish Dace, and then we're out of here.
Yeah. Should be it. Should be it.
Okay. It's time to hit the muckets. All right. I'm ready.
And we can get out of this Lutrinol pocket. These things crushed us.
We've been here for a while, it feels like. We spent a lot of time in Spire, which is fine.
We finally are shaking off the river creatures.
It took a long time.
Got into town, you know? All right, over to you.
Okay. 1 fit plus this Dayhaller approach icon of, I think it's Reason, is that one?
I think it's Reason, yeah.
I'm going to really, really think about how to pry open these muckets. Hita! Got it.
Yeah, got him.
Okay, so resolving the test, I put 1 on the muckets. That allows me to soothe 2 fatigue.
And they go, they clear.
They clear. And on top of that, oh my gosh, this is all good. This is great.
You put good cards in there?
Yeah. On top of that, I get 1 for my loose leaf tea kit. I get 1 for my, I need this one. Can you give me the black dice there? Okay. And I need 1 for my static sifter.
Sick.
This gets discarded. This goes away. Now we're good. Okay.
And then it comes over to me?
Yes.
Or you resolve your icon, your blue icon?
I need to resolve my blue icon. Coming down here. Wasn't a test to add. Nothing here. Nothing here. Okay. See you later.
And then I'll go ahead and rest.
Okay. Do you want your 2 fatigue stack? 2 from your 2 fatigue stack?
Yeah.
Okay. Take the 2 for the 2 fatigue stack.
Bing, bing.
Great. Now I'm going to connect with our friend.
When I rest, I add features to the field journal.
Nice. Dace on mine. So here's a big connect test with Dace. Dace is a 1, so I have to get at least a 1 just to assure that. And because I've got
heart?
So many hearts. I'm gonna passionately converse with Dace about all this wind business. And then I draw, I get it no matter what, so that's always happy. 0.
All right.
So that clears. That's the first thing that
let's clear and let's read up. 59.
And it's equal to my effort?
Yeah.
So that would be 3 altogether?
Technically.
Okay. But we'll leave it at 6.
At some point, I think they might say, like, if this much. 59.6. This is going to be heartbreaking because we're going to have to choose, I think.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn to fly, Jace explains. Oh, cool. You try to stifle a laugh and her face flushes darker. I'm not joking. There are shapers in the monastery that know how to fly. I've trained with them for years, and everyone knows the story of the shaper who flew to Plateau. She sighs. Oh, I don't know why I'm bothering you with this. Master Cress always says that I wouldn't really learn to fly unless I cast myself into the empty air from a great height. He always had a flair for the dramatic, but I think he may be right. I've just never been able to fully commit and trust in my ability.
Ooh, okay.
She suddenly looks at you. You know what? I say it's now or never. Do you know the way to the plummet? Can you take me there so I can jump off? Check this out. Check this out. I love this.
Okay.
We've had a template so far, but we're breaking it.
Okay.
Sounds fun. Let's do it. Remove all progress and attach helping hand to Dace.
Okay.
We would have to get her to plummet.
That's 2 away. We know the hidden trail of plummet.
We can take the hidden trail of plummet?
We can take the hidden trail of that Spire. Do plummet.
Oh, gosh. Our other option. B. I don't know about this plan of yours. Although you can't help today, you spend some time speaking with her about her ambitions toward flight. Discard Dace and write kind words with Dace on the campaign tracker. So that's a good. That's good. Plan,
yeah,
right?
we like that. Everybody's satisfied with that. We talked Dace out of jumping off a cliff.
Right there.
We had some kind words to Dace.
Words with Dace. I thought it was just going to be suit to fatigue, but instead
we get to put something in the journal.
Level.
That's pretty cool.
What's that going to mean? Next time we see her.
Awesome. Awesome.
All right, clear your stuff and discard Dace.
That's right.
Okay.
And right here. I don't know where you put Locator, but we'll put Dace there, and then we'll figure it out later.
I've rested.
Okay, I'm going to use 1 focus and exhaust this to put a token on your reverb tech. And
that's a genius play. Big brain right there.
That's it.
Okay. All right. So we go to the travel phase. It does have progress equal to. So we can remove all cards from the play area, choose a new location, and assemble the path deck for the new location. So Talon is going to stick around because it's persistent due to helping hand. These Spire cards will go into the Spire discard pile. And now we know what we're looking for. Lutrinals into the devastating deck here.
They didn't seem like that big of a problem the first time.
And then suddenly
Holt is a big deal. Holt's an issue.
Yeah, Holt's a problem. Lakeshore, I'll go ahead and put that in the pile over there. Put that in the pile.
Lakeshore pile.
And then we've got a perfect day. We haven't refreshed yet, so we'll stay cool. We'll get our ranger tokens back. You get your wing nut.
My wing nut comes back to me.
I get this. Spire is out of here. Hidden trail I'll discard because we're going to travel twice.
Yep.
And we're going to...
It's not pivotal.
What's it called?
It's called Stoneweaver Bridge.
Here it is. And it is a trail.
Oh, good. That's good.
It is a beautiful, beautiful trail.
So because Steven's character knew the hidden trail because he's a professional strider, we made it right through.
Dude, can you just look at the art on Stoneweaver Bridge?
Gorgeous.
How good is that?
Wow, Stoneweaver Bridge's refresh thing is cool too.
Stoneweaver Bridge is cool.
Very cool. Location water trail. All right. Love it.
Okay, and then we will look at its arrival. We won't do that quite yet.
We got to build the deck.
Yeah, let's build the deck.
So we are approaching it via ravine, which we have not seen before. Right there.
So we'll grab the ravine stack, and then we'll grab 3 valley cards.
Ravine stack and 3 valley cards. Here's the ravine stack, and I'll work on the valley cards.
Ooh, there's some gross stuff in here, man. You see that thing on the top?
I didn't even look at it. I didn't even look. Let's see. This is all there.
It should be like...
right here, I think, maybe?
Should have like Tala and those in it. What about that one with the Elder on top? Or there's also one over there that's face down.
I think it's the face down one. Maybe. Let's see.
Or,
yep, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So choose 3 randoms from that, and we'll shuffle them in here.
All right. Oh, 1 and a
Make them
2
good.
and a 3.
All helpful cards, please.
All good. Luther, surprise Luternal.
Man, how did we get here suddenly where we're like on the edge of our seat again?
I know. It's really cool. It's really cool. We've got 2, 3 turns to do it in, right? Because I'll draw this one, and then I'll draw the next one, so we have 2 to do it in.
Yeah, and I think we can get it first shot.
I think so, too.
Because it's a trail.
So I can use both of these to give you 2 more fit.
Yeah. So I'm going to be 4 plus stride. I'm going to be at 7.
Mm-hmm.
And
then walk with me. Look at that. Oh, I love it. Oh,
only,
I love
but
it.
if we get a
It's
minus
so
2,
good.
if we get a minus 2, that's the only thing that could stop us.
Oh, man.
Don't put that out there, right?
Don't put that out there.
Don't put that out there.
Can I commit to yours? Nope. 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 Nope.
Okay.
Cool. Everything has a reason. Love it.
Let's read 26, which is our entry for Stoneweaver Bridge. 26?
26.
Okay. The silver fin flows cheerily beneath the great bridge, which was coaxed from the very earth and shaped by the stone weavers in a display of great discipline. The shapers from the monastery spent several years to manifest this marvel and only finished the work last spring. Since then, you can't walk 20 paces in Spire without overhearing someone talking about how wonderfully useful it is. Okay, and then on arrival, we search the path deck for the next feature and discard it.
Oh.
I guess that's the point of the
like
bridge.
going over it?
There's a feeture, loose
Boom.
boulders.
We can walk over those loose boulders because of the bridge.
And they're not an obstacle in front of us anymore. This would have been awful. Hopefully we don't. Hopefully we won't draw that
in
the real way. Okay. Thank you, Bridge.
That was great bridging.
Lead Ranger, draw
bridging.
1 path card.
Ooh, skittish Oblion. Hopefully it's pretty skittish. It's just there. It's just a creepy thing.
It's just there, man.
If there is no web wall in play, exhaust this being and then put it in play. So web wall is going to be an obstacle.
They're going to put spiders.
If there is no hazard in play, shuffle this being to the path deck. See you later.
Okay.
If you have 3 or more fatigue, injury.
Okay, nobody's in that situation.
Okay, all right. That's terrifying.
Fine. Here's my path card.
No obstacle, no obstacle, no obstacle.
Loose boulders, not good. But, I should be able to manage
You can
that.
undaunted that, right?
I totally can. I totally can. So far. So let's just look at these. It's an obstacle. We have to do a focus test to move our thing here.
Mm-hmm.
Then move this feature within reach of another ranger.
Okay.
Okay, so we can do it like that, basically.
Okay.
Okay, so we got to put it. Basically, we got to do it together. We've got to inch together.
I see.
And then when we clear it with damage,
which is 2, so we both do it once.
How do we clear it with damage?
Oh.
No, it says clear. If this feature is within reach of a ranger, that ranger suffers 2 injury. So something is going to damage the loose boulders, and it ain't us. It's the hazard. I wonder if the spiders put damage on the boulders.
This just adds 1 to that feature.
Oh yeah, so they just get looser as we go, and if we don't get through them by the time we hit 2 crests, they fall out and we take 2 injuries.
Woo! That's cool how they did that.
That's horrible.
I mean, it's horrible, yes. Move on this feature, then move this feature, and then reach another ranger. So it just goes back and forth, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
That's right. Okay, then we go down to the refresh phase. Ready all cards.
That's awful.
It's awful. Let's not think about it. Ready all cards? You ready?
Yeah, I'm still thinking about it.
No, we just can't lose track. And then we will ready all cards.
Okay.
Then we will draw a card.
Okay.
Regain all of our energy.
Got it. Oh, yeah. Oh, let me get my stuff back. You're going to like the way you look, Steven.
Guarantee it?
I guarantee it.
Then we go back up. Now remember, on the refresh phase from the bridge, this is pretty cool. You can choose a path card to remain exhausted. So if these boulders or something get exhausted, or the spider, we can keep it down because the bridge is a peaceful place. So then we go back up to the path cards. Each ranger draws 1.
Okay. Oh, we're doing it again.
Yeah, that was just the arrival.
That was just for fun.
Yeah.
Ooh, Ranger Cash. Ooh,
that sounds good.
You put stuff back in your deck? That'd be so good.
2 from your ranger discard back into your deck. That buys you turns, man.
That's pretty great.
Let's read about it. 79. That buys you real, genuine turns. 79. Is it worth pursuing that instead of just... And then we lose that token.
Oh, so cool. So either way it's going to be good. It could just be more good or less good. That's so much fun.
You barely notice the sigil carved into a nearby rock. You don't see any sign of the ranger cache, but you whistle the 5 tones that Ben Amon taught you during your training. The illusion of a rocky outcropping covered in lichen flares and fades as the lenser deactivates, revealing 4 carbon-forged chests bolted to the rock. It's like we found a freaking secret
That's really cool.
chest, man.
That's really cool.
And then I draw a card.
And then you draw a card.
Fraying Rope Bridge. Okay. While your ranger token is on this feature, it cannot fatigue you. Okay. Spirit to brave the unstable bridge as the ropes groan beneath your feet to move your token here. Clear with damage, discard all progress from this location. Each ranger with their ranger token on this feature suffers 1 injury. So we would need to draw the sun 4 times before the rope bridge collapses. We got ourselves into some real stuff.
That's a real problem. So, but if you'll have to take 2 fatigue to do this, 2 fatigue to do this, but you got plenty of fatigue.
I got fatigue for days.
You got fatigue for days.
Now the other thing, yeah, no, so it doesn't matter. It's totally fine.
It's totally fine. It's cool. Hey, watch this. Is it my turn?
Yeah, you're the first turn.
Should I, if this comes out, we can still rest. We can rest whenever we want to, right?
We have to travel to rest.
So we have to be able to travel to rest? We have to clear that before we can do it?
Now, I have every intention of clearing this instantly.
But this is an obstacle. We can't do...
So the only thing we actually have to do is get both of our tokens here.
How do we do that?
Which will require a focus plus inch test.
So we both have to focus plus inch. Okay.
It is a 2 difficulty.
I was getting confused about only if it clears this way. If you get both tokens on it, it clears automatically.
It always clears, yeah. Same with the bridge.
This is not an obstacle. This is okay.
Yeah, so I have every intention of avoiding this stuff and getting the bridge and clearing Talon and completing Helping Hand is the first thing I'm going to do.
Here's my question that I'm wondering about. I can avoid this Opulon.
That always seems good.
Yeah. And by doing that, then there's no chance web wall comes out. I don't know what web wall is, but it seems like an obstacle.
It does seem problematic.
Right?
Yeah, it does seem problematic.
Or I can put trail markers on the bridge.
Bridge, that the only thing that does is it makes the -2 not fail.
Yeah. Or I could can you do something that doesn't cause a test? Probably not. I don't suspect so anyway.
I could, but probably not in a way that it advances us any way.
Okay.
Any good kind of way.
So probably, I still think I should exhaust that Skidosopulon.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I do agree with that.
Cindy's asking, on that bridge, can you also traverse to put your token on it since it's a feature? I don't believe so, because it doesn't have a little feature thing in the side.
That's right. So if you traverse it, the only thing that traverse does is it adds progress to it. So we can add progress to this, but there's ostensibly no benefit for doing so because it doesn't have a threshold for progress. It requires us both to use a test that's going to get our tokens there. And they always come, any card like this comes with a test that puts our token there. Now, we could just traverse it to use something like Walk With Me and put progress on it.
Right.
We can always do that if it's something that can be traversed.
Okay, then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to avoid the Opulon. Opulon?
This thing's weird, man.
Yeah, it's scary. Don't look at it too much. I'm only going to use one of my awareness. Look at this. This is some interesting stuff. Then I'm going to use Vigilant, which says I get the amount of conflict equal to my awareness left in my pool.
Yeah.
So that's 3, but I still got the thing.
Love it.
I can't lose because it's 3 minus. If I get a -2, it's still 1, and it's the winner. Now, there's some bad stuff that can happen here, but not too bad.
Not to me, though, but you're not here.
And
it's only this stuff.
Only that stuff.
You might add 1 to the bridge.
That's no big deal. Hey-ya.
Yeah, 1 on the bridge.
1 on the bridge.
-2 awareness. Way to go, dude.
Hey!
You saw that one through.
Got it.
Yeah, eat it, Andrew. Not today, man.
Not today. All right, so we
today.
take 1. The bridge gets 1. So the challenge resolves. This thing is avoided, which means it's basically exhausted. Not a problem anymore.
Any responses to
any responses to that thing, which don't happen. No responses.
Etc.
And then I can go down here.
Resolve this.
Starting with this, nothing there. 1 damage, I put 1 there. This is exhausted, so it's completely not on the map.
And that would have put a web wall on.
Put a web wall on, but we don't need it anymore.
All right, can you do the thing that gives me the fits?
Yep. All right, so we'll do the functional replica. That'll give you 1 fit. We're gonna drink some tea. Hey, give me another fit. It's really good tea because I've modified it with my functional replica, and it doubles it.
What more can you ask for?
What more can you ask for? I don't have the trail markers on there, but that's okay.
I think I'm going to just take 3 fatigue. Because the Ranger Cache fatigues me 1 too. Because it's too tantalizing.
Yeah, well, I can help you with my stuff eventually.
3. Okay, so all we've got to do is that, and then we should just be able to go through here. You've got focus tokens. It's a feature, so we've each got +1 from the field journal.
Great. Field journal doesn't exhaust either, which is why it's so good.
Field journal is so cool, man.
Yeah.
It's so good. Okay, so I will go ahead and use Undaunted Seeker.
Okay.
So I'm going to avoid the Loose Boulders obstacle.
Right.
Dodge it.
See you later.
I'm Undaunted. I will take 3 fatigue because I'm traversing the Stoneweaver Bridge. 1, 2, 3. It took me a lot of effort to do it. I'm going to spend 4 fitness to get on there. 7 Strider because it is a trail. And I'm going to do +1 here for 8.
Okay.
Because 8 to 6, -2, we're still in the pocket of both clearing Talon Lane and traversing the bridge. So we draw our card.
That's a big 0.
Resolve the test. That's going to be 8 progress.
Boom.
Onto the bridge. Then we're going to resolve our responses. I'm going to reverb block it courtesy of your adding.
Just keeping that up.
To it.
Just tinkering.
Spend 1 spirit. Walk with me is going to put 8 on Talon Lane. Clearing Talon Lane. Let's see what that leads to.
Look at it all just happening.
Hey, 61.
Just happening.
Notably, it's like crazy when you think about it. Like the Soothing of Fatigue got me the Strider and the Leaf and the Breeze that allowed me to do that test. That allowed us, and then the putting the tech on the reverb block it so you could walk with me. It's just like you're totally playing a cleric, man.
Yeah, man, I love it. It turns out I like clerics. Maybe I should start playing clerics. I've never been drawn to healers, but maybe this is just so cool. I like having these little machines here.
If Helping Hand is attached, go to 61.4.
Yeah, we're going to 61.4. That's right, Dusty. We did it. And beautifully, too. One card left in my deck.
I cannot wait to read this. 61.4. I think this is right. Let me make sure I follow the thing. Oh, wait. Cleared with... Wait. If you are at Stoneweaver Bridge, go to this.
Mm-hmm.
If Helping Hand is attached, go to this.
Mm.
Which one do we go to?
Uh-oh.
Huh.
Maybe the internet can help us.
I'm going to go to 61.3 because it looks correct.
Okay.
We'll do 61.4, okay?
Okay.
So Helping Hand is attached. Talon taps your shoulder. I think you always go to the first one that's true.
Okay. I'm cool with that.
Because 61.4, Talon taps your shoulder. Not that I'm minding the chance to travel around the valley. Not at all, in fact. But we are heading for Stoneweaver Bridge to set up my statue, right? If not, maybe I should just head back to Spire Branch and continue my work there.
Okay, so that's if we cleared them and we weren't there.
If we weren't there. But we are there. With a final flourish, Talon steps back and fiddles with the controls on a pair of suspensor pedestals he's put on the sides of the bridge. With a musical crashing and tinkling sound, the mound of kinetic glass shakes and rises. Slowly it forms into an abstract human shape surrounded by a spiraling swirl of stone. Even as you watch, the shape slowly moves their arms, and the stones solidify into a sparkling obsidian obelisk that envelops the figure before breaking apart and returning to its swirling spiral. Talon watches with a satisfied smile. The hardest kinetic glass work I've ever attempted, he says, and thanks to you, it was a success.
Yeah. Bringing beauty.
He reaches into his bag and pulls out a hemisphere roughly the size of his palm, along with a large leather pouch. Here! He hands it to you. I'm afraid I don't have anything more practical to give you in return, but this is a sculpture I did of a rabbit when I was practicing my realism. I thought you might like it, or he trails off, then laughs. Maybe you can use it as a decoy. Gain the kinetic glass sculpture reward card.
I'm pulling it up, everyone. Close your eyes if you don't want to see it, but I want to see it.
Discard Talon.
Ooh, it's so pretty.
Return Helping Hand.
Where'd our rewards go?
To that, they're over here.
Okay.
Got them right here.
But where's our new rewards?
Oh, like the actual stack?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I'll look in this big stack. Oh, that's right. It's got
a stack of cards there. Helping Hand card. Okay. And then we have an additional thing we got to do. Right, erected a mighty statue on the campaign tracker.
Dang right, we erected a mighty statue.
Who's laughing now? Erected a mighty statue. Dude, this has been a productive day.
Yeah, we've done a lot.
Now we just got to. We gotta get camping, dude.
Now we just gotta camp.
We gotta clear this.
Maybe I didn't take the rewards out.
Oh, they're in here. They're in my box.
Because we want them to be like super good. Let's see if I can find it.
We are looking for which card?
We are looking for kinetic glass sculpture.
There it is.
Does it look beautiful?
It's got 3 approach icons on it.
Woo!
For that reason.
Exhaust and move a being. And it's gear, so I can put more business on it.
How much does it come with? 3 uses?
3 uses.
2 awareness. That's a good use of awareness, too. 3 uses. It does take up 2 slots.
Yeah.
It also has 3 approach icons. That is really the key to this card, in my opinion. You can just put it into any test that you need it in.
And it's a heart. It's got one of those heart ones.
Yeah, it's a hard one to find. Okay, cool. And we got the Ranger Doublers, so technically we have 4 of these in our reward. So we can both take them if we want to. But I don't even want to do that. I think we should all have our own copies.
Fair enough.
Okay, then we've resolved the test, and that was a lot to resolve. But then we go to the crust. Loose boulders. Add 1 to this feature.
Okay. 1 more of that, and we don't have to do anything about it.
1 more of that, and I suffer 2 injuries.
Oh, oops.
Yikes.
All right, so we can camp.
No, we have to travel, and we can't because there's an obstacle in front of me.
Oh, okay. Got it.
I think that's true.
That makes sense. Is it a trail?
I better look that up.
Oh, not true.
I think you need to use the focus test here and get your token there.
Okay.
And don't pull a crest.
Okay. Whatever I do, don't pull a crest. I'll make sure not to. There's nothing I can do that makes it any different.
Let's look up obstacles.
Okay.
The thing I like the most. You cannot travel if there are any ready cards with obstacle. Oh no. Also, the sunshine adds 1 to this feature.
Yeah. So we just can't draw a sun or a thing.
2 injuries is okay. It's 3 that gives you the persistent.
Wait. I don't have to. Nothing fatigues us though.
Nothing fatigues us.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we're fine.
We're totally fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So I might take 2 injuries here. That's okay.
That's okay.
I just discard these cards.
Yeah. And you don't need those because we're going to camp.
I don't need them because then we'll immediately rest and camp.
Yeah. No
Unless
problem.
we want to hit up that Ranger cache.
I've thought about it, but all it does is put stuff back in our deck or charge us up. It doesn't do anything in the long run.
Yeah, okay.
And then even if we clear it, we don't get a story. We just know that there's a Ranger cache. Oh, it's a Valley one too. So it just shows up.
So sometimes the cache is here.
Sometimes the cache is here. Okay. So I must have used a focus earlier.
Did you? I don't think you did, man.
Remember.
You just used an awareness. Oh, you traded it out for another awareness token, didn't you?
No.
With your T kit?
Yeah, but that was before I rested.
How'd you get me a
That was
fit?
before we left Spire.
Okay, sweet. You just didn't push it back.
Oh, the sunshine does affect it. Oh no, it doesn't affect loose boulders. No.
I wish it did.
Which is because loose boulders doesn't have a number in that path section. It's got a Ranger token.
And I remember the early version of the game. These would fatigue you when you traveled, but
Right,
that is
they
not the
don't,
case
yeah.
now. Okay. All right. So basically, our out here is you do a focus test onto loose boulders.
Right.
I give you a field journal.
I don't.
It's
Well,
3-2.
Okay.
You draw a card. It's a mountain, which means it doesn't blow up.
Right.
And then I do the same thing. And then by the time we would have drawn a blow up card, it's already cleared.
Yep.
Because both of our tokens are there.
Yep. And I've got some approach, so I can get it up to 4-2, which means it'll happen no matter what.
Is there any way to heal this?
If I had some muckets.
No, I think it only heals me.
Brought my muckets.
What's up, Jeff?
All right. Mine, I'm going to focus. I'm going to use...
Oh, you're right. You're right, Jossie. That's what you're saying. So this says if the weather is inclement,
Oh, thank you,
the rocks
Jossie.
begin to shift.
Yeah,
So
there
just
you go.
the
There
crest
you go.
is a
There you
problem
go.
for us.
Just the
All
crest.
right, so continue on your pathway there.
Okay,
So like,
great. So that's fine. I've got 2 focus. I'm going to take a test. I'm going to do this.
Field
loose
journal.
boulder says, on my way along, inch along the precariously balanced rocks. That's what I'm going to do.
okay, so you got
I'm going
3
to focus, and then I'm going to put this,
currently. Just need a
not my
plus
trail
1, I
markers,
think.
just this one. Stone in the river.
Nice. 4-2.
4-2.
What could go wrong? Just don't draw a crest.
Just a red one.
All right.
And a +1. 0, I mean. Okay, so this resolves, which means I put my Ranger token wingnut on there. I'll clear out all the energy. And then start with the sun. No sun. Add 1 to that feature. The rope bridge goes away. Woo! Oh, no, it's 2 per Ranger.
It's 4, yeah.
Another one, the rope bridge is getting blasted by the sun. And then this actually does, because I'm interacting with it. If it's inclement weather, which it is not, it's a perfect day, then I would add 1 more damage, which would have been very bad, but I didn't.
Isn't that cool that the boulders get harder if it's inclement weather?
Yeah.
That's really smart.
That is good. There keeps being revealed stuff that is just like more levers to pull to make this more engaging and alive.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is.
It's beautiful.
A storytelling machine. Whoever said that earlier was absolutely right.
I'm also going to inch. +1 because of your token. 4-2. What could go wrong? They almost got us, but they just didn't. 4-2. Resolve the test. Move token. Clear card.
Done and done and done.
Any responses? None.
None.
And then we resolve the crest. Nothing. And then we reshuffle.
Okay.
That was our -2 focus, by the way. That was everything possibly could have gone wrong, but we overcame it anyway.
That's right.
Okay, so now if we rest, we can travel.
Yep. And that's what we're going to do.
Yes, we are.
Even though there's so much shenanigans I could get into right now.
You want to start mucketing?
Yeah, I can. But there's no reason to, because we're going to rest and the whole thing is going to heal itself.
That's right.
That's right, Andrew. He's cheering for us out there.
Rest.
We're doing it. Rest is best.
Rest is best. Okay, we've never done this before. Okay,
so first
we're going to travel.
Yeah. So first we rest. We both rested.
Okay.
Travel.
You may travel. Remove all path cards. Okay. Man, the ravine is awesome.
Yeah.
Ravine is awesome.
Which way do we decide to go? The
well,
tumble down trail.
We didn't decide yet, but we could.
Yeah, we got off of that immediately. Oh no, we're completely off the map already.
Yeah, we can go where we want.
Yep.
We have no
we're
current
just down
missions.
Here in the scary town.
Now, things that we know though is we know that we have kind words with Dace, so we could head back up to Spire and try to find Dace again and be like, oh, I wonder what this kind words did for us. We've erected a mighty statue. Don't know what that means.
Yeah, but it's cool.
It's going to happen, and we could go back and talk to the sculptor in Spire.
Yep.
We could stick to our plan and go over to Meadow.
We go over to Meadow. That's a pivotal location. There's also this Mound of the Navigator, which I'm sure is cool.
It looks pretty creepy.
But like then we get into this business.
This business looks like
the Marsh of Rebirth.
Garbage. This is when you look at the map in an MMO or whatever, and it's like that's like the high level zone.
Yeah, we know it just by looking at it.
Yeah. Unless maybe it's not.
Maybe it's very nice.
We've got over here. I haven't seen. Okay, we got forest and then whatever this is.
Yeah, we can basically go here. We can stay in the ravine and go to the mound.
Go to the mound, maybe up to the Terravore.
Ooh, we have
up to the furrow and up to the wall.
We have heard the Terravore is like. Wasn't the Terravore supposed to give us some treasure? Wasn't there something sparkly in the Terravore?
There was something sparkly in the Terravore. There's an old rumor that there's something in the Terravore. So do we stick with our Stoneweaver to Meadow to Rings of the Moon? We need a boat.
Yeah. I mean, Rings of the Moon, we just ravine.
But then we can't get over here because of the freaking river. So then we got to ravine over to the archaeological outpost and then down to Watcher's Rock and then over to Tumbledown.
Yeah. And Branch, we go up to Branch. That's where they make boats. That's where the boat maker lives.
Who told you that?
The glass guy, Lang.
He did say that.
Yeah. Yeah. Right here. I don't need a campaign guide. It's all right in this.
Well, I got to tell you, that's pretty appealing.
Get a boat.
Why don't we?
I mean, it's kind of hard to get to.
Well, why don't we work our way?
We can go up.
We could go up through here and then crossroad to Branch.
All right, hold on.
We could go around to the Terravore.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 1, 2, 3, 4.
But a chance at shiny objects.
Yeah. And we get to see the furrow and the high basin. Yeah.
Why don't we take the far east?
A lot of ravines. Yeah, I think that's the right decision. And here's the thing. We could go to Meadow, but that's people stuff. That's for those high spirit characters. We're woods people.
Yeah, we need to stay in the woods, I think. And we can also, what's going to happen here is something's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then it's going to send us somewhere.
Into the Marsh of Rebirth is exactly where it's going to send
us. And we're
going
to go right in.
Just like a moth to flame.
It's not even going to be close. We're going right in if it tells us there's an opportunity. So let's go to the Mound of the Navigator.
Yeah, I think that's the next path.
Okay.
Check this out. In my hand, I had two of these. I had 2 Nature's Abundances, which is where each ranger can add a damage to a flora, and they get all this stuff back. And I had 2 Green Thumbs, which starts the path deck for a flora. So I was just like, and I could just start loading up my stuff.
Dude, you're about to start hacking.
Yeah, but it was time to rest.
It's time to rest.
So,
okay, so I'm gonna write a little note.
Going to Mound of the Navigator. Gonna finish this out by the fire out at my house.
We do, yeah, exactly. So our current position, I'm gonna mark as mound.
Mound in pin.
In pin,
yeah.
Because
this is the one time where we're gonna write
mound, and then I'll put a slash so that we can maybe write one later.
Okay.
And then the terrain is gonna be ravine. Yeah.
Our favorite ravine.
Actually, I'm pretty fond of it. I mean, as a Strider feature explorer type with my field journal and whatnot,
it's fine.
I can handle those bridges
and
stuff.
I can exhaust stuff. Or again, it's really the humans that we have a problem with.
Okay, so we traveled.
Yep, that's right.
And then we can optionally camp.
We're
actually gonna. This was the real goal of the whole session.
That's right.
Okay, when you successfully travel, your group can decide to camp for the night. Okay. When the place is over, we check off a day. So we're done.
This is now we're on day 4, which Andrew said is really, really when it gets serious.
The downpour starts just as we're about to go to the freaking
all the
marsh.
inclement weather starts.
Okay, so I'm gonna read how we'll start out the next round, basically, but we will not actually play through it here on the camera.
That putting out that pocket pouch so I could use my functional airplay on it was like the hot sauce.
That was hot sauce.
Yeah.
Soothes the fatigue, get you the card that you need, and
Yeah, that was amazing.
there it goes.
That was really, because then not only one of us need to run it, it's very handy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
It's sweet, man.
Wow.
Okay. After choosing a new location as a group, you can decide to end the day and set up camp for the night before venturing into the new landscape. Ending the day in this way is safer than ending it in the middle of navigating through a location. Don't we know it?
Don't we know?
If you end the day, you're allowed to swap reward cards into your decks between sessions. If you don't, continue to step 4. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some reward cards into our decks.
Okay. Oh, are you going to get quiet? I certainly can't.
You don't have enough fitness, do you?
No, I can't. Quiet would run all over me.
You were looking very much at the fishing rod.
I was, yes.
One fit to play it.
How many? It's 3, though. Oh, goodness gracious.
It's tech. And then it's an awareness test of 2 difficulty. If there's a water card in play, soothe 2 fatigue and add 2 progress to a water card. Now remember, you can overwrite these.
Yes, true.
And it's also 3 icons.
If there's a water card in play, soothe 2 fatigue and add. Oh, that's great.
Look at this too. Exhaust and obstacle with its exhaust. With a vault.
Okay.
And you can put 1 back on it because it's tech.
exhaust and obstacle is fantastic.
Exhaust and obstacle is nutty.
Can you wait? Does that mean you can just don't have to deal with the obstacle before you can travel? If it's exhausted, it doesn't
That's
matter.
correct. It has to be ready for it to be in your way.
Hey, all
It
right.
wouldn't fatigue you and all that.
All right, well, that's fair.
That's incredible. Now I can also run it if you don't have room for it. Let me see what I'm working with here.
Got to figure out if I'm getting rid of my day howler or my.
These are all excruciating. I have such good memories with these cards.
I
man.
know. Here's the rest of my stack. I was wondering what this went.
I gotta take quiet, right? But I think I'm only gonna take 1 quiet because it is unique.
Okay.
So you can only play 1 out.
Mm-hmm.
It is 2 of these icons,
Yeah, you
though.
want that.
Well, let's see what's better or worse here.
You can get rid of anything. You can even get rid of your personality to put these in.
You can get rid of anything. I mean, let's make sure. I always just assume that.
I get rid of my personality for a fishing rod.
Dude, 100%.
Gotta keep the sifter. Gotta keep the trail markers. Gotta keep the trail markers. Gotta keep nature's abundance.
Rewards. Find all copies used to customize your decks. Customizing your deck. As you progress, there are 3 ways you can alter your deck during a campaign. At the end of the day by camp, you can use the downtime to reorganize. You may choose up to 2 copies of each reward card that you've unlocked and add them to your deck. For each reward card you add, you must choose a non-malady card to remove from your deck.
Okay, fair enough.
If the removed card is another reward, you can return it to the collection. So we can swap them in and out every time we camp. We don't have to sit with them forever.
Okay. Man, now this is actually fairly difficult.
And what you remove becomes displaced, but you can always put them back in whenever you camp.
Okay.
So nothing is forever.
I think, as cool as it is, I think I'm getting rid of the day howler.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. Or putting it back into my collection, I should say.
Okay, so I'm going to basically lay out the cards that are most important. Do you want to do the top down here?
Oh, yeah,
This might be helpful to see.
I thought I was not going to use that card before table, but
Then there it was.
it became very handy, yeah.
You can also do like a 1-in-1, depending on where you are.
Yeah, the day howler is fine. Basically, you put it out for 1 awareness, but every time you have to avoid something, I have stuff that I can avoid multiple things, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then throw that out. But like, at least so far, there hasn't been like 8 things on the board that need to be cleared. There's been like 1 or 2. I'm
sure the marsh is going to be good too.
It's going to be fine there, yeah. I've been holding on to a stone in the river, which lets me exhaust an additional being, just because there hasn't been 2 beings out.
Right.
Even when all the illusional craziness was going on.
Right.
So okay, day howler out, Artel in.
These cards are just all too good.
I maybe should have, whenever I was at Spire, I maybe should use my focus to change my other Memorial Sketchpad into another functional replica.
We can always go back.
That's true. That's cool.
We got nothing but time, man. We can just go do that.
Just wandering.
Do that exact thing.
Or we could see Kobo on the trail. Because we're going to be going through a lot of alley stuff.
That's true. Yeah, we might see Kobo. Okay, so these are all the cards that I feel like were critical for me. So we've got our Reverb Locket, Walk With Me combo.
Yeah, absolutely astounding.
Don't diss. And I think Hidden Trail falls into this, like, I just think it's doing too much work for me.
Yeah, Strider also.
Strider and Bold are just allowing me to get big tests for Walk With Me.
Yeah.
Trail Markers obviously plays into this very well.
I've got Trail Markers too.
That's true.
For what it's
worth.
It
too many Trail Markers? Maybe, maybe not. I only have one of that pocketed belt pouch, but it did its job this game.
Nice. Did you trade for it? You did trade for it. Yeah. Ah, cool.
2 multi-tools, 2 field journals, 1 hiking staff, so I can go get the hiking staff I need it with the belt pouch.
Okay.
So I could cut like 1 multi-tool or 1 journal because I do have the pouch to go search the other copy out. But really what we're looking at here is Meticulous falls into this Explore a Bunch theme, and you can put it back in your hand. I like that.
That was handy.
Persuasive, you get a recurring test here, but Quiet is also going to bring a lot of these symbols in, so this is a little suspect.
Let's see what Quiet does for you here.
Eagle Eye, scout 3 path cards, then draw 1. I think this is going to be important when we're looking at the Terravore. Maybe we're going to try to find a little hidden object. So I'm going to keep Eagle Eye in. We got Leaf in the Breeze. When you traverse, dodge up to 3 cards. That has been very useful once before.
Oh, yeah. Dodge up to 3 is like, that's like, the one that I would...
Like the one, just then, if it hadn't been I can take 3 fatigue, I was taking 3 even with my test to go do the travel.
Here's the thing, though. I've got fatigue soothing left, right, and center.
It's true.
I'll be even be able to fish now.
You're soothing fatigue.
So I'm soothing fatigue.
Yeah. Perceptive falls into our Explore a Bunch. Gain awareness is not that useful.
No, it's not.
But it is a way to get to 3 awareness if there's a test that suddenly you need a bunch of awareness for. And then Paths We've Run Before, I think, is really solid. It gives me the icon and then 4 total moments that go back into
It's
our...
been absolutely foundational.
Okay. So I think it's Leaf in the Breeze or Persuasive. Or both.
Or one of each.
Or one of each.
Conflict symbols or exploration symbols?
Add 3 to a being and 1 to quiet.
So here's the deal. I would get rid of Persuasive only because you're trading a conflict symbol for a conflict symbol.
I agree. And then do you think you run 2 quiet or just 1?
So if quiet dies, you can put another quiet on the board. I'd do 2.
And quiet can add 3 damage to things, so it's a Lutrinol.
It's a Lutrinol destruction machine.
All right, let's go quiet in for Persuasive.
Okay.
We don't need to be persuasive when we got a Lynx.
That's right. That's a very good point.
And then...
Have you met my Lynx?
Exhausted Lose a Being. Okay, so that's kind of an easy swap here, too. I'm going to go 1 Kinetic Glass Sculpture for 1 Leaf in the Breeze.
Oh, yeah, we got these things, too.
That's it.
I don't know if I'm going to do this. Exhaust and Move a Being. No.
It just gives me another heart symbol. It also is the kind of thing I can play. I often have awareness that I can't use for anything.
Yeah.
So I may as well put this into play and then exhaust it to exhaust like something that's problematic for you or me, get it out of the way, and then go shoot at the travel.
That's a good point. Now that you've made that good point, do I need to reevaluate my life?
So I'm going to go ahead and swap these. And we need to keep track of these. I'm going to put them under my roll card.
Vigilant definitely happening. Passionate. Fun.
Deck's getting more red over time, I got to tell you.
Persuasive. I might drop 1 Persuasive and put it in a Kinetic Glass Sculpture.
It's amazing how our personalities become less over time as we get fancy objects. Now I understand Real Housewives of like New York or whatever. It's like, you just lose personality the more stuff you get. I get it.
What are you trying to tell us, Andrew?
Yeah, right? Is this subtle?
Yeah. I'll think about it a little bit, but for now, that's what I'm going to do.
What is it? How much is your sifter in terms of space that it takes up?
1.
And what about the T?
2.
Anything else?
Replica
1?
Also 2.
What else is?
Functional replica. Day Howler is 1.
Got it. Okay. Functional replica. So you could do like vaulting rod replica or vaulting rod, the other one.
To exhaust 2 obstacles.
Yep. And this, ooh, that's a good card, man.
It is a good card.
I could also take one of them, and you take one of them, if we wanted to split the difference.
Doesn't bother me at all.
Because I can search it out with the belt pouch, but you can too if you have the replica on the board.
Yeah, but the belt pouch is particularly good with this because it's down to 2, which is like a pretty big deal.
2 is a good number for that, yeah.
Oh, Andrew said we nailed it. We got right there.
What did we nail?
As you get more things, your personality diminishes.
Yeah.
I see.
And you could also just take one vaulting rod and just be like, I'll see it when I need it.
Yeah.
Play like Zach.
Yeah. Yeah, and most of the time, if there's not a water feature, I'm just going to toss that thing.
Clockwork, correct. I'm never sad to see the vaulting rod because you always get an icon out of it at least.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, like it.
Do you want a vaulting rod?
No, I don't.
Okay. I mean, technically, you have the doubler, so.
Not yet. I don't want it yet.
Okay.
But maybe. What are you swapping out?
Day Howler.
Day Howler for vaulting rod. That's the game.
That's the game. Obstacles for beings, but it's just look. I've got so much awareness. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think
I'm
you're right. Let's wait until we see where we need the Day Howler, and then we'll camp. We'll swap it in, and then we'll go into the final level. You know,
once we get into the bog of rebirth.
All right, so I'm gonna keep these 3. I'm actually gonna put them. I think I might have room. I'll put these in my little sleevey.
Oh, nice.
Because they're
my deck's getting
that I can.
Getting weird because I traded out my Memorial sketch pad for my functional replica, which was a great decision.
That kind of makes you a little nervous, but I guess I'll not do that. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for being here.
Let's see. Let me get you big one.
Yeah, Clockwork. I'm so with you. Exhausting obstacles is always nice. Those are like the real hey, how are yous of the game.
Yeah, that's the ones that really like ruin your day.
Yeah. And then we had one reward that we hadn't used, right? Which was the second rabbit card. Where'd that end up? Did you put that in?
Did I sneak that one in? Yeah, I did. I snuck it in. I took out persuasive for it.
Okay.
And even though I think I'll end up putting it back in.
And these are all in our. We can use these later stack.
Yep.
Sketchpad as well.
Sketchpad was technically traded out, so I think it goes back into the collection.
It does, yeah. Let that happen.
Doesn't exist no more.
This is our. You can use these whenever you look at our persuasives. We just got unpersuasive.
I don't know.
That all felt great.
It was good. That was really good. That was really good.
Okay.
You would think with like 4 cards remaining in my deck. Cindy asking, does exhausting an obstacle allow you to travel?
That's
to our
right.
best of our understanding, it is correct.
It says you
Huge
cannot
deal.
travel if there are any ready obstacles in the rule book. So, I mean, the vaulting rod is crazy.
Yeah.
I think Andrew gives us that early because it's kind of tied to like the early game, do the biscuit mission, and you're likely to find Artel because you're probably going to need it later.
Yeah.
There's going to be some stuff that's just going to be overwhelmingly good.
Yeah, the obstacles. And like even like the Tenebrae, remember the Tenebrae?
Yeah.
Just being an obstacle.
Weird organ meat. All right. Hey, thanks so much for watching. I know that, you know, it's hard to follow games, co-op games, especially if you're trying to avoid spoilers and trying to keep up with what's going on. But we absolutely adore this game.
Yep.
Jonathan and I, on a personal level, are so pleased with the way that it plays and the way that it works.
Yeah.
That we will be playing it together, not on camera.
That's right.
Which is the first game that we've done that with is Price Swords and Strongholds.
That's true.
In a long, long time.
In a long time.
So thank you for that, Earthborne team. That's really awesome. And we're going to come on in at day 4. And I want to read to you the day 4 intro, because I think that will maybe tell a tale of how this is going to go moving forward.
Clockwork says, excited to hear what you all think about day 4 onwards. Game gets real.
Yeah.
It's already been real.
This is it. So it says, you wake up in the morning to a dark sky thick with clouds. Rain is falling on the head of the valley in thick sheets, and the creek near your camp has spilled over its banks.
Oh, no.
It's not good because we're on the
We're in
bridge.
a ravine, yeah.
Or I guess we're going to that Navigator Hill or whatever it's called. Before you finish packing, a familiar figure approaches. It's Cal Ivor. Oh. Make haste, he calls. Areas southeast of Lone Tree. That's exactly where we are.
Yeah.
Are flooding. It was that ridiculous shaper. Came to water the hanging gardens and instead created an entire storm front. Elder Thrush is sending teams across the upper valley for rescue and relief efforts. You must go to White Sky, Kobo's Market, and to the Golden Shore. If you can get there in time, make sure everyone is safe, then provide whatever aid you can. They've ruined our plan.
Yeah, to all of them?
What the heck? White Sky, Kobo's Market, and Golden Shore. Why? Let's not even waste time with this, man. That's not where I want to be. I'm over this. Says, this could have been avoided, Cal says, mostly to himself. He looks down the trail in the direction of Lone Tree, then back to you. I would accompany you, but Calypso and I have been tasked with finding AL. Maybe he can fix the mess that he's created and put a stop to this rain. You're on your own. Good luck. You're going to need it. And as if on cue, a peal of thunder rattles in the air. Gain the Rising Waters missions. You have to move fast to beat the waters. Record 94.2 2 days from now, day 6, on the campaign tracker. At the start of that day, read that journal entry. So at day 6, I'm going to write 94.2.
Okay.
My favorite radio station.
So we've got 3 days. We can do that. We've traveled farther, faster.
Also, I just want to float an idea by you, you know?
Just not do it?
Just not doing it. Let's look at the Rising Waters mission. You know, like there's a lot of rangers that can help with that.
We got a marsh to deal with right here.
Torrential rains are causing floods. Use 1.05 instead of the normal entries for these locations. When a card with a flood attached is cleared, place 1 progress on this mission and shuffle the flood into the path deck. Have 3 progress on this mission, 1.07. Now, I believe there was a errata on Rising Waters.
Okay. You don't have to do it.
Which says, if you're just not interested...
You're just going to go straight to the Marsh of Rebirth.
Don't do it. Okay, let's go to card errata, maybe? What would this be? I don't know. And you guys can tell me. 11 of 34. Is it in there? Guardian, General, Greenbridge, Mission. 14 of 34? No. 12 of 34? No. I think there's something with the flood cards where they made it more clear how things work. So I guess I will deal with that when I get there. I'm going to make sure 1.04 isn't in yet. So nothing yet. Okay. There may be some things that I think the floods have been a source of a little bit of confusion. And Andrew giving me expression, you can always ignore it. I love that decision.
See, look at that. That's the guy.
I mean, here's the thing, man. Why are you talking to the Rangers all the way at the Mound of the Navigator, clearly looking to explore the Terravore?
Yeah, there's sparkly things in the Terravore.
Well, you got Rangers surely up here.
At White Sky Lone Tree Station, that's like Ranger Central.
We're nowhere near. So far away from that. We'd have to spend 2 days just getting there, let alone helping.
They should at least brought a boat with them. These guys have airships.
But what if we don't do this, we don't get a boat?
It's like when you try to steal that biscuit.
I think we're gonna ignore it, man.
I mean, why don't we'll just kind of, we'll go here, we'll get a boat, right? And then we'll go to Spire, and then we'll right up to White Sky, and then boom, right up to the Golden Shore. Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom. And then if the waters are truly rising, at least we'll have a boat, and we can pull the corpses from the water.
I like this clockwork actually. You don't have to do anything just like in real life. There are consequences, but you just have to roll with it.
That's right. You don't have to save the flooding buildings or locations or people. Yeah. It's fine because you're seeking out shiny objects in the Terravore. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. We appreciate you being here and cannot recommend this game enough. We will be shipping it actively, like within 1 business day. It will be in stock, etc. As early as this week, probably early next week. So all pre-orders will go out once our stock arrives. That should be any day this week. So then we'll immediately start sending packages out to everyone who's pre-ordered so far. And then once that's done, we will flip it into in stock, and you can just buy it and get it shipped to you within 1 business day. And then you can have some of the best experiences in tabletop gaming right here. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.